Frothy.
Super frothy.
Not bad.
Hello and welcome to On the Esky. The boys all are back. I've got Mac on my right, Peps and Monks on my left. This is a sports podcast and we've got a big show planned full of sport from across the globe. There's huge stuff happening. There's stories all in the AFL, the NRL, cricket, EPL, UFC, NFL, NBA, you name it.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah, a little thing called the Super Bowl. So we'll go probably deep into the preview of that, see what that's looking like. We'll go around the cricket and have a look at how India and England are going, see how looks like Root's doing all right. We've got
Big Bash final.
Big Bash finals coming up, yeah. Bunch of off-season stuff, bunch of fight cards coming up. Like there's a huge amount of stuff to talk about, but I think we're going to kick off with this story in the AFL. It's kind of a big one. And Peppy, what are your thoughts?
This is obviously we're a sports podcast. We don't want to go too deep in issues of social justice. Massive story coming out of the Collingwood Football Club. They had an independent review, so outside of the football club. 35-page report, the Do Better report, essentially accusing the Collingwood Football Club of systemic racism. The report, they had 5 questions that they wanted to look at. So essentially, how effectively had the club responded to the allegations of racism? Were appropriate supports provided to the club to the allegations? What changes in policies have taken place? Are the current policies in place adequate? What changes are required to improve the response to racism in the future? Essentially, off the back of Heritier Lumumba calling him out, saying he actually played 220 games at the club, the man formerly known as Harry O'Brien, and said essentially his whole experience there was quite negative in terms of racial vilification. His nickname was Chimp there. I don't think he liked that too much, and then he sort of spoke out and said, it's not just about me. There's a bunch of other guys there that weren't happy with the way that they were treated. And yeah, he was pretty much the spokesperson for it and led to this report coming out. Shockingly handled, I suppose, by Eddie Maguire in terms of choice of words, labelling it a proud day for Collingwood. I suppose
you can kind of understand what he meant by it's a proud day. It's come out, but I'm not defending him in the slightest.
No, neither will I.
For someone who's been in the media and in the public's eye for
similar,
all my life, nearly 30 years.
Yeah.
He's been in media running, TV shows. You think you could be able to pick your words a bit better than
he's
that.
definitely put his foot in it in the past. So
I'm not defending him. You could see where he's coming from in that they want to do better. I guess that possibly would make you proud. Obviously, a shocking choice of words, and he knew it straight away. Getting grilled in the media and by 4 idiots drinking beers, sitting around a laptop and a KO feed. We don't want to dwell too much on this. Look, I think for me, where you draw the line is when someone's putting their hand up and saying, "Hey, stop this! This is wrong." You got to start going, "Okay, well, let's settle down. Yeah. Obviously, us boys sitting here, we got a wok, we got a half Chinese, we got
it's not even Chinese,
half Hong Kong, Hong Kongese,
Hong Konger,
half Hong Konger. Obviously our friendship growing up, we're Indigenous blokes, redheaded blokes. We love feeding each other a little bit, and I suppose from the outside looking in, you might say, "Oh, that's racist," but it comes down to we're all a bunch of mates having a bit of fun.
Exactly. Whereas Collingwood, it's technically a workplace, so you wouldn't be wanting that in your workplace.
Yeah,
so it's different.
Yeah, and if one of our mates said, "Hey, fucking stop doing that. I'm sick of that," you go, "Okay, well."
You look at yourself and you wake up to it. Yeah, and it comes down to the whole boys' club thing. The male stigma, or the Australian male stigma, and you're a footy club, you get brought in there when you're 18, there's blokes who have been there for 10, 15 years that you're going to go to them, they're going to feed you the way. And I guess that's what this report looks into, is the ongoing stuff. This wasn't a one-off thing, it's the culture that's built around it.
It's that club culture.
Exactly right. It's the boys' club thing. It's and that's just where it is. That's where it boiled out to. And and some people get pissed off with stuff like this. You know, Heredia has come out and said this. You need to sort of be a maverick because you are breaking out of that mold of the boys' club. You know, you're sort of breaking that wall of the inner sanctum that what happens at the footy clubs. You know, we're going to give you, you know, it's just a bit of banter. Bit of banter, like Peps has said. When you've asked to reel it in, and I would, if he's going to this much trouble, I imagine he's asked the blokes to stop it.
Times,
you know,
I'd imagine.
He's not gone straight to the media and straight to the public with this. So,
you wouldn't think so.
Look.
So on the club culture, that culture is driven by leadership. So I think there's definitely been a lot of talk about widespread calls for Eddie's head that he should pack it in and sack. He is standing down
last year anyway.
I'd be interested to know if because that happened when that happened a couple of weeks ago.
That he announced
there?
End of December, I believe. Yeah, just before
I
Christmas
wonder
last
if he
year.
got like a pre-draft of this. I'm speculating here that hey, he maybe knew this was coming down the pipe and fell on his sword a little bit.
I feel like that's a fair assessment.
You'd think as the CEO, the guy you've paid these blokes to do this independent review, and they've gone, well, this is what we're finding so far. How do you want us to handle it? And he's gone, shit.
Eddie, like, if I asked you to name all the presidents of the AFL clubs, you'd probably be able to do 2 or 3, and that's being generous.
Yeah,
Eddie's
generous.
a lot more than the president of the Collingwood Football Club. The Collingwood Football Club is the biggest club in Australia. However you want to look at that, they are massive, and people get
huge.
annoyed with that.
Massive
saying that, you know,
membership base.
rivals. Collingwood, you either hate Collingwood or you support Collingwood. You're Collingwood support. That's pretty much plain and simple. As someone who's followed the sport since they were 4 years old, he's much more than just the president. He's so involved. He sponsors feed off Eddie. I think he does want to sort of fall on the sword, but also Eddie's a bit of a legacy guy as well. There was talks of him running for politics not too long ago. Like, he's a big legacy guy.
Does he want Dan Andrews' job?
Yeah, well, Dan Andrews, he's going to be remembered for how COVID was handled.
True.
Are we going to remember Eddie Maguire for being a racist? And that was the last thing he did. Whereas, you know, Eddie Maguire may or may not be a racist, but because of all of this, if he wants to take the, the systemic blame, the boys club blame for it, we talk about leadership. You know, Nathan Buckley's the coach. He was the captain. He was a 17-year-old at the club. You know, we've seen some ongoing patterns here, hence the report. The biggest question coming out of there is, what can we do going forward? How can we make the changes? So is Eddie moving out, a fresh start? And that, inevitably is the old, going out with the fresh start. We get rid of Eddie, we get rid of the racist connotations of the club.
Well, I think you raise a good point though, like leaving that 12 months, that leaves him that chance to leave a legacy of, I turned the club around.
Possibly.
We found this out.
Yeah.
But culture's not something you fix in 12 months. Like, if you want to fix this, you probably want to blow it up and start again.
Well, you can start implementing those steps. I'm like, look, I started turning the wheel.
Here's some programs. He'll make some speeches. He's not one to not talk. Eddie can't help but be on the camera. We grew up watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I was a big fan of the Footy Show growing up.
Exactly.
Eddie's been a big part of footy media and footy in general, not just the Collingwood Footy Club. So, look, people talking about it is a good thing. We don't want it in the game. We don't want it in society.
No.
Yeah. So, some people get uncomfortable talking about it, uncomfortable hearing about it. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it because it's a real thing. It is a real thing. So, I think it's a good way to lead it off and move on in. Any other off-season?
Yeah, so I guess following on, not lighthearted, but another interesting story. So Tigers coach Hardwick has recently split with his missus, and it's come out that he's now dating a club staffer.
I think this might have been going on for a little bit from what I've been
possible.
reading.
So I've read a couple of WhatsApp groups which blow up. You take them with a grain of salt, but a few very interesting allegations come out of the Richmond Footy Club. It's again, it's a delicate one. We can sort of laugh about it. A family has been
horrible.
ripped open. I heard initially it was a physio, and then it was an administrative.
It's the marketing lady.
So Dimmer's, had this. He referenced his wife in a few post-match conferences. You're an AFL coach. How can you? How does your family handle it? And he would reference Mrs. Hardwick, and he was very light-hearted. He's very much loved by the media. And now you look back and you go, oh, that's how you handle being at the footy club 20 hours a day. You're shaking up with someone. So makes it a lot easier for Dimmer, but look.
Yeah,
It's
I
got
think.
nothing to do with footy. That you also hear that
I
Alex.
wouldn't think it's going to affect his coaching.
No,
Well, there's the talk about, if he's hooking up with club staffers, what happens? What's that message send to the boys, the club, if they step out of the line a bit like that? Can he come down hard on them, or are they just going to go, mate, you're shacking up with the club staffer?
Well, apparently that again. I'm hearing rumours from 8 hours down the road down in Melbourne, but the playing list allegedly, of course, the playing list is split in half. A lot of the boys are, not buying into what he's saying now. You can look at it two ways. You can say, I've won all these premierships now, follow me, or it's, meh, you've won your premierships, you're a dickhead off the field.
Yeah, but...
So, it's up to the professional athlete how you want to take it. They're the ones paying your bills as well. So it's, Alex Rance with that early retirement, there was the rumours of him shacking up with Jack Higgins' partner, who was, one of the 19-year-old boys at the club, and then he was sort of forced. The AFL bubble, the stories we hear, the stories we don't hear, but you could write books about them.
Yeah,
you could go on. Like we were talking about last week, the pressure cooker of professional sports. You throw your family life, you don't ever get to see your kids. You're surrounded by, high testosterone males, aged 20 to 30. It's a cauldron for...
Exactly. It's the alpha males, like they're trying to, who's the big king in the forest kind of thing.
Exactly
so
right. It doesn't stop with the coaches.
No, it doesn't stop with the coaches. Yeah. I think Mitchell Pearce is probably the only one hard done by this. He's probably going, this is bullshit.
He's allowed to do it. Well, that was the most awkward 10 minutes on the Esky. I think we tiptoed around that nicely, boys.
Yeah, that was probably good to start before we have too many beers as well.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't want to say anything wrong around that. But no, well done, Pep.
So some other AFL off-season news. So Tom Scully has retired at the age of 29. Very much just said, I've lost the passion for the game.
Yeah.
Understandable.
This, mate?
Yeah, Tom Scully's a bit of a sad one. He was the number one pick from Melbourne when they sort of really bottomed out.
Yep.
They had the first two picks. Tom Scully was drafted, had a great first season, and they thought, you beauty, future of the club. Then a little team in orange appears in Western Sydney. I think he was the first player. They threw $1 million at him. They hired his dad as, a well-being officer or something just to sweeten the deal. And he had a really good run at GWS. He made his spot on the wing. He'd run stupid at like 15, 16 kilometres in a game. I think 2 or 3 years ago, before he really got hit by injuries, there were times where he'd come off once in a game of AFL footy. So you're running 15, 16 Ks and you've coming off for a 1 minute spell. Ankles, I think a hammy or two. Went to Hawthorn. They're known for their physio and their off-field treatment. But I think, he copped a fair bit moving. I think he was 21, 22, moving to the Giants. Now he's coming back to Melbourne. He's had a fair bit going on in his only 10 years. It is sad. I think the injuries just took a toll on him.
He's probably sick of all the rehab, just the constant
training by himself.
Exactly. If I'm not playing, then I'm rehabbing. Like it's not a fun, like even in the off season, like you're trying to have downtime, but you're like, well, my ankle's crook or my knee's bad. Like you're spending ages in a pool doing work, just trying to get back to the point where you can play again. And if the playing's not doing it for you anymore, you've just lost it. Like,
exactly.
Well,
right.
a little bit off topic, but NFL, Andrew Luck, same situation.
Exact situation.
Yeah. And again, that pressure cooker of professional sport. You're in the media, everything you do is scrutinised. You're out at the pub, everyone's getting stuck into you. You want a selfie, getting shit because you missed a target on the weekend. Again, it's my dream job to be a professional AFL footballer. He's 29. He's my age. He's 12 months older than me. Like, come on, mate. I've got enough passion to play. I don't have an eighth or that's generous. 800th of your talent. So, but look, I mean, you're not going to say he's a Hall of Fame player, but he was very skilled, great engine. But all the best to him moving forward. I'm sure maybe a coaching gig or something along the way. Help spark something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Ben Brown needs knee surgery. So I think he's...
Do you know what that's regarding?
Not sure.
It was pretty crook last year. He got traded to Melbourne in the off-season. I think he needed a fresh start.
Yeah, definitely.
North bottom
Clean
now.
up.
So I think it's nothing major. It's a bit of a clean-up, but it is a bit sad for Ben Brown because I think him being at Melbourne was his fresh start. And, they're on the way
sad
up.
for the Melbourne Footy Club as well.
Exactly. They've just... I think it was only a second-round pick they gave up, but still... you know, you're going to be our future full forward. And
Definitely.
You're not going to play for the first. I think it won't be a major thing. I think
No,
it's
he's not
month
missing
of
a
the year.
huge amount of the start of the year.
Yeah,
But
you miss that first month. It takes
misses all the off season as well, getting
Yeah.
around the boys, getting used to the new club and that. So that's not going to help.
makes it a bit harder. So a couple of seasons with 60 goals for Ben Brown.
Yeah,
So he was when
he's
he was up
elite.
and flying,
Yeah,
he
he
was
kicked
an All
off.
Australian. So hopefully he can get back to his best footy.
Yeah. So arthroscopic surgery to address cartilage damage in his left knee.
There you
Okay,
go.
so
So
that's
just a
clean
little
up.
clean up. So won't miss too
Not
much significant
ACL.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctors.
So and then Fagan has signed a 2-year extension to continue being the head coach of the Lions. Very much turned that club around.
The way they've been
Absolutely.
going, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
feel
did
about that,
doesn't
Shawnee.
he?
Yeah. So they're definitely in their window at the moment as well. So you want him around, and I think they're going to, build that direction, and hopefully they can get over the hump. Beat the two big squads of the Tigers and bloody Geelong.
Exactly right. He has. Him and David Noble came from Hawthorn. They were part of that Alistair Clarkson, that dominant. I think the AFL had a bit to do with helping them get up to Brisbane. I think they were on the fence, and the AFL found an extra bit of money in their jeans that were in the washing machine. So the boys were able to go up there, but apparently they've loved it. Culture has changed. Obviously, footy in Brisbane, not the priority. You're probably looking 2 or 3 pages in the newspaper, but we think of the early 2000s. You think of Ackermanis, Jonathan Brown, Simon
Unreal.
Black.
3
Absolutely. So
Yeah. Well, I
Footy,
think they're winning again, which probably helps.
helps everything.
They've
Absolutely.
been packing when they had crowds. They're packing the Gabba out. So.
Had the grand final there. Like hopefully, bit of momentum in Queensland with the Gold Coast looking like they're improving. If footy's strong in Queensland, and you've got the 2 teams in Sydney now, it's really starting to dominate the whole East Coast, and everything else is AFL
And that
West side. So
That might come to one of the stories in the NRL and why they're kind of pushing into that area a bit more, but we'll cover that in a second because the last AFL news we had to cover was Mason Wood has signed with St Kilda.
Yeah, former Kangaroo.
yeah, just one of those medium forwards. Had a really good year 3 or 4 years ago. Looked like he really popped. Just sort of never really got going. Couple injuries. Cousin of Easton Wood of the Western Bulldogs, premiership captain. So shout out to Easton.
I didn't
Always
know
give a bit of Easton love, but yeah, obviously can't hold a candle to his cousin, dominant half backman. That's creeping up. AFLW's obviously started, but the preseason's only about a month away, so hopefully with some fans, I think they're talking 50% capacity in Victoria. So fans at the footy, it gets me very excited. Cannot wait for that.
Only 5 or so weeks away.
I think both. Early mid-March.
I think the league always gets a couple
League's
weeks
always- yeah,
head
normally
start.
do, yeah,
So I think they're start of March and AFL's
Middle of March,
generally.
So, great segue. Move into the NRL.
We're good at those here on the Esky.
Cover some of the NRL news. One of the big stories was they've always been pushing for another club. There was talk, I think, a year ago about adding 2, getting the numbers from 16 to 18, but I think with COVID all during the year, it kind of changed the perspective, but they still want to push ahead with at least 1. And, of course, Queensland being the best position to put that forward.
Yep.
So there's talk that, hey, they're the most likely to get it. Queensland to get another club most likely in Brisbane, so second club in Brisbane. There was 2 ventures. It was the Brisbane Bombers and the...
We've got Dolphins down here.
I think it was the Dolphins. Was
Redcliffe, isn't it?
Yeah, which was Redcliffe, where the 2 different ventures have actually joined forces, and they're pushing ahead with the Brisbane Jets as the name for the team. And they're one of now 3. So there was 5 and they're one of now 3. So there's 2 other Brisbane ventures going ahead.
Firehawks or something. Something really cool. Something very
there's
American.
Ipswich, I think's another one too. So, but again, they're trying to put another club in Brisbane. It looks like they may get a license, say, next year with a look to join the competition in 2023 with, 17-team league with, a few extra buys probably thrown in there to sort it all out.
Do you think this is news or because they've been talking about this for a decade?
Well, the Brisbane Bombers has probably been the favourite venture for a very long time. I think it's getting closer and closer. Year on year, it's getting closer and closer.
COVID definitely doesn't help
No, not at
anything.
all.
But again, you're right, Peps. I've sort of been hearing about this ever since the Titans came in.
Yeah, exactly. And my concern is everyone in Brisbane that's born and raised in Brisbane is massive Broncos fans. Anyone like you're a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
Do you think people will buy into this as a second Brisbane team?
Depends. If if the Broncos keep playing the way they've been playing, they'll be like, "Oh, this Jets team looks mighty good."
Yeah, it's actually the timing is. Now that you mentioned that, I hadn't thought of that. It's probably impeccable timing.
Well, they've been good. They've been like playing finals for 20 years, so you're never gonna. So it's
if there's any time to jump ship.
I heard
Exactly.
they're trying to play some games in Adelaide and stuff like that, trying to buy a couple interstate games to help build.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to make money from that to help build the brand a bit.
They've been doing that with State of Origin for last
Yeah. So I think last year's when they were talking about the 18, so the other team I think was more like Western Australia because they got really, really good crowds and positive outcomes out of State of Origin. But of course, COVID and Western Australia, what they're doing at the moment, probably kills any of that kind of hype. So they're looking on the East Coast.
I don't think
With the AFL getting stronger in the Queensland market, maybe they're thinking, hey, we need another strong Queensland team, which will then help hopefully push more Queensland players, and you build that whole Queensland New South Wales thing more. You build that whole State of Origin. So,
well, they've definitely got the love for the game up there. There's no question.
It's sport number one, easy.
And like they live and breathe rugby league up there. My concerns are they've been speaking about this for donkey's years, and B, will people jump off the Broncos to get around a new side?
Yeah, it could very depend on. Well, they're talking about these guys, the Jets. They want Wayne Bennett as their head coach, as their first head coach, which definitely helps the situation. And then it probably depends on what players they bring in. If they maybe get someone to jump ship, Brisbane really doesn't have anyone at the moment. But as example, if they had Darren Lockyer and they got him to jump across, then you'd be like, ooh, you get the Darren Lockyer fans coming across as that example. So
Cam Smith, maybe.
Yeah.
Captain coach type treatment.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Could
You
do.
heard it here first on the Esky.
Leaked.
my only concern with this whole Brisbane Jets, I think the name sucks. I've thrown out the Bears as Brisbane Bears as like follow the bees, but I do the logo as more like a koala and back the whole drop bear aspect. It's like kill a koala and go with that.
Isn't that essentially
Sponsored by
what the
Bundy.
Queensland Reds are?
true? But
The
everyone can refer
AFL
to them
team
as
were the
Reds.
Brisbane Bears.
Brisbane
early
Bears,
90s,
yeah.
So
Well, there's the Central
and they are
Coast.
no longer. So
There was the Central Coast Bears, I think, which
North
probably
Sydney.
which I think probably owns the rights to the Bears name in the NRL circle.
I think it's a good idea, Sean. I don't think it's going to catch
No,
we don't,
I think
get
Brisbane
much traction.
I think Brisbane Jets suck. I don't know.
Brisbane Jets.
You know why?
Something.
New York Jets stink.
stink.
Newcastle Jets stink.
Yeah, you don't want Jets. You're
Gungahlin Jets stink.
Yes, let it be known. Let it be known. Any fans north of the lake.
Yeah. Sorry to my mate Declan, aka White Doug.
White Doug. Good shout out, White Doug. Big performance on the weekend from White Doug.
Massive performance.
Jets is just not a name I can get around just with the history of Jets teams elsewhere.
Brisbane Bundies, maybe.
Bundy.
That's quite fitting. Then
Yeah.
you could get some drop bears going throughout the game.
Get
I think
a
there's something there.
Don't
Maybe
know how the
get a
NRL feel
Bundaberg
about it.
sponsorship as well, and you get the big polar bear in there too.
Could you move that team further up to Sunshine Coast or something?
Yeah, well,
But that's been spoken about before.
definitely
as well.
Sunshine Coast. I think Rockhampton, of course, is too far north, which is
And
where they've
population to support.
not enough population.
Yeah.
Problem with Sunshine Coast is probably population again because it's heavy tourist based.
True.
There's
Whereas
about
Gold Coast-
250,000 people
Well,
there,
there
and
you
then
go,
a lot of people from the northern suburbs of Brisbane might possibly get around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have that North Brisbane sort of.
I think the best way to do it is have an existing Queensland Cup team, like maybe the Redcliffe Dolphins, do it. That's
Have a
already
base,
got
built-in base.
a few supporters, and people in the area might go, okay.
Which was making me think, didn't the Walker brothers coach the Jets? Isn't there a Jets team?
Newtown
in
Jets.
Newtown Jets. No, not
No,
Newtown.
sorry.
No.
Ipswich, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Ipswich Jets. So that kind of makes
That's right,
sense,
yeah.
as in maybe that's why they're
You
going
take
with
an
Jets
existing Queensland Cup team. My knowledge on the recent history of the Queensland Cup's not extensive enough to comment.
Yeah.
name. Well, the
Yes.
reason I remember this is because I'm pretty sure the Walker brothers won. They won the Queensland Cup with the Jets. I'm just wondering. I don't think they won the Champions game against the Sydney equivalent.
Yeah, they held that like grand final day. I remember
Yes,
that
yeah.
because they were doing some like short kickoffs every kickoff. They were doing some like analytical sort of American style stuff with their
Exactly,
coaching.
yeah.
Analytics.
Yeah, it's taking over the game. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
But
doing
I
some
think,
funky
yeah.
stuff. So
Look, if you're ever going to do it, it's going to be in Brisbane again.
Yeah,
That's where the base is.
Ipswich Jets.
Could you get around that logo?
Look
Green-
for
it's not
green
green
jets.
and
I see
gold.
green, white jets. I
Green
think of
and
New
white
York. Sam Darnold seeing ghosts.
Yeah,
Can't even tank properly.
yeah, not a fan of that.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Back
see.
to the drawing board then.
Okay.
Should we want to stay in Queensland and talk about Paul Green?
Well, yeah, the Maroons coach. So Paul Green officially announces Maroons coach.
Again, I'll go back to you, a big Maroons fan.
He's probably the biggest coach name in Queensland football that currently doesn't have a club job. Maybe a little bit disappointing that he didn't get picked up in the round of head coach moves this year, considering he finished up with the Cowboys. But a solid pick. If he gets some of the other boys around like Mal and stuff like that, if Mal's he's got no international duties at the moment, so get those guys to help out with the process. I don't think there'll be any issue. He's taken the Cowboys to 2 premiership finals.
Yeah, and was he
And the one
JT.
No, I don't think he was there for JT and Matt
Can
Bowman.
you look at that, Paul Green?
Who was coach?
Who was the coach of that team?
Oh no, yeah, it would have
I
been.
think it might have been
when they
him.
won,
When they beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
The
yes.
drop goal. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
So
that
yeah,
JT conversion right
that would have been Paul
sideline
Green. Yeah,
bent it like a
I
banana.
was thinking against the Tigers going further back, and
In 05, no.
he was definitely not there for that.
Neil Henry, maybe.
No, I think because Neil Henry was the Raiders at that point.
Good days.
We're really speculating here.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's one of those.
he's a good coach.
I don't think, and please shout me down. These days, are your Origin coaches club coaches as well, or is it sort of shifted away? So
Not allowed, but not preferred.
that's where they're
Yeah.
going. So
Well,
maybe
it's
just
not feasible these days.
to then switch your
they want a
intention.
dead coach.
Which I think makes sense. So
Of
does
course
Paul
it does,
Green
yeah.
not get the Cowboys job and then go, like, I mean, where with some of the coaching jobs, do I go to St. George or would I rather, coach Maroons for 3 games and then, hey, oh, wow,
Yeah.
maybe that's coming into his his thinking. So
Yeah.
If he's probably not going to get a whitewash, but have a good showing, probably win the series. If they win a series, then that looks good on his resume, and then push for another head coaching job when they do the cycle all again next year. When the Dragons probably looking for another head coach.
Selling us out already.
wait till round 1
Yeah.
to end the season.
Lots of Dragon talk to come,
Well,
but
that's a nice segue, I think.
oh, okay, nice segue. Okay, so let's talk about the Dragons. Came out during the week that they were looking at Israel Folau on a possible 2-year deal for roughly $1 million. There was talk that part of the contract he'd tone down his social media. I think we're speculating. Is this kind of fair, the approach, when you think about guys like Matt Lodge, Russell Parker, Ben Barber, and we've got Payne Huss, his court case as well recently.
Should we? Let's not breeze over
But
that.
I think we'll come back to that. But I think the sponsors very much got involved, and the Dragons are going, nah, and they've pulled
Pros,
out.
cons,
So
and
yeah.
so
So the offer was there, and now it's gone.
I'm going to state this. I do not agree with Israel Folau's
No one here
statements.
does.
I
No
do
one here
not,
does.
and no one here agrees with Israel Folau's statements. However, and there is a however, if guys like Matt Lodge, who essentially
missus,
kidnapped a family,
terrorized the family in New York.
Russell Packer, who belted someone and went to prison,
Did prison time.
Ben Barber, who bashed his missus in
Multiple
in a
times.
casino. He's obviously not in the NRL, but was allowed to play afterwards.
But a bloke that talks about his religion is not allowed.
Actually, after the casino incident, that was post his NRL. But the first time it happened, he was.
he had strikes after strikes. Todd Carney's
I think,
another one. Like,
I think he had cocaine as well. Like, there's a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah, the list goes on. The list goes on. And all these blokes, they've done their time. They've been out of the game, and then redemption, they're allowed to come back. And good on them. Seriously, I want to see, Lodge and Packer are both currently in the NRL. You want guys to get their shit together and get their life back on track. But I don't know if I'm even upset with the NRL. I'm upset with all these sponsors, because they just go off the name of Israel Folau and all the bad press that it's going to bring, and then they're pulling when obviously there's guys that haven't really, they've done bad shit.
well, they've
Actual
drawn the
bad
line.
shit.
They've drawn.
Yeah.
They've made the precedents now. They've made the statement. And as black and white as this is, and I'll say, you can belt your missus, you can get caught with drugs, you can drink, drive, you can go to jail, but if you
talk about your religion.
Talk about your religion. We don't allow that. So they have now set that precedent. They've drawn that line in the sand.
Yeah.
So for people going forward, and if you look at that on paper, you go, well, that's what you have done. You have done that is of their doing.
Yep.
And it's not like you said. They've offered second chances. Good to see people come back and do the right thing. You hope they're doing right off the field. Regardless of how good a sports person they are. But now,
we will say a caveat though. There's probably better ways to talk about your religion. So that is out there. But
and we've outlined that. I think it's the way he went about things was horrendous, and most people, I think in Australia these days would tend to agree with that. But getting blacklisted from playing professional sport over it, I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
There was a little, I think it was over at Catalans. Did he have a?
I think he had a little stint there.
James Maloney.
He
signed over there, and James Maloney was in the
WhatsApp
group. Yeah, did you see this?
Yeah,
they welcome Israel, and it took about 15 minutes. And Maloney said, I think it was to some newspaper, he said we couldn't help ourselves, and the boys started sending gay porn videos non-stop. He said it took dead set 15 minutes, and everyone on hook into him. So.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jimmy Maloney.
He does not give a shit. He is the most rugby league human you could imagine.
He's very rugby league and quite a funny bloke, actually. Would often contribute on the Big Sports Breakfast when he was still here in Australia. Funny bloke. And is he, mate? You just got to cop it, I reckon.
Well, you're going to say that stuff.
Yeah, you're going to
they're your words that they're biting on. So. We'll see what happens there going forward. I can't imagine.
Yeah. But it looks like he's looking for a job in the NRL because rugby union, of course, is not going to give him a second chance.
The ARU won't. I suppose he could still. Yeah.
Considering the payout and everything that happened with that, they're not going to go anywhere near that. So he's keen to play in Australia, which would be the NRL.
Yeah. Well, based on all this, do you reckon he gets a gig in the NRL anyway?
I don't know. It might take. If he does, it'd be probably one of the premier clubs, like maybe the Roosters or Brisbane. Yeah, because they could, if they've got the backing and they can, sway the media conversation in their direction, maybe. But
I disagree. I think the last 2 days have shown. Like it was a story. It was a story on Wednesday, and then by Friday, it's like, no, you can't do this.
And again, now it'll come down to St. George care about what people say about religion, but Sydney don't care about what people say about religion. Yeah. This precedent they have set. Good, bad, wrong, right, whatever has been set.
Maybe out of Sydney's a better. Like I could see Melbourne and Craig probably spinning that story. I think he could deal with that, or maybe go play Warriors, go play New Zealand. Like you're completely out of the picture, sort of.
He did start at Melbourne, so he's got the connection there.
That's what I was thinking, but
Brisbane.
It's hard to pick.
Yeah, I think again it comes out to that risk reward thing. St. George obviously crunched that. I mean, $500,000 a year for. He walks into any team playing rugby league in the world. They weighed that up and they went, you know what, it's not worth actually paying him middle of the pack money.
Yeah, well, he was probably thinking, oh, yes, I'll be the next Dragons player that they pay overs for. So he's looking forward to it.
Well, that's it. There's a bit of an age gap, but it's just similar to like a Sonny Bill Williams sort of situation where changes back codes.
Yeah.
But
again, different situation. But But trying to flip back and forth. Anyway,
maybe you should go test out the waters in Russian rugby or somewhere with. Oh yeah, we agree. Everything you say.
Very good. Yes, this Israel man is very good. Well, quite hearty man.
I think they are.
Have you thought about politics, Israel?
You like Putin? You in?
I think the problem though is his missus who plays netball and they've just had a kid, so they want to base themselves in Australia, which is unfortunate for him because it looks like he's probably not going to be able to get a job.
Just to clarify, that Russian bad bit was in jest.
As in Putin, don't come after Peps.
Yes, any Russian.
Don't disappear.
Putin, if you're listening.
Yeah. So following on with the Dragons, they lose their captain, Cameron McManus. McInnes, sorry. He signs with the Sharks from next year, so he's got 1 more year left with the Dragons. But it sounds like they weren't really coming to the table with any offers. Probably too busy with Israel. So he's just gone out and done what he's done. And now sounds like the Dragons, because Anthony Griffin's there, they're looking at bringing McCulloch down from Brisbane, who was on loan to Newcastle last year. So, yeah.
It's a reasonable loss for McInnes. Yeah. I think probably after Damien Cook, probably the best.
Well,
he's probably top 3 hookers.
Yeah, he's probably getting a go for New South Wales if Cook's not in the side.
Yeah,
he's definitely up there.
Big loss in terms of leadership and
played the second row, I think, for most of the second half of the year because Ben Hunt
was playing 9. Yeah, McInnes was playing lock. I don't know where this club's going, to be honest. As a long-suffering fan, hopefully they can get someone like McCulloch, or just maybe they're just going to play Hunt as a 9. That's
definitely a possibility. Everyone says that's his best position, but I think Griffin's trying to rehab him as a halfback again. So see how that goes.
You never know; it might work out, and they'll finish at 11th. It'll be a really good season for you, perhaps. Yeah.
I think I'll take 11th right now.
So some interesting news from the Warriors front. Roger Tavasashek is looking to join rugby after this season. I think there's some speculation about he's not overly happy about being away from home and being away from New Zealand, especially with the Warriors having to base themselves in Australia for a very long time to play the whole NRL season. That he's not really happy with that travel. So looking to play rugby in New Zealand as part of the New Zealand Championship, because they've kind of separated it so he can stay home and don't have to travel as much. And there's already talk about the All Blacks kind of trying to fast track him into the side and get him involved, because he's outside of Tedesco, he's probably one of the best. Well, he won the Dally M a year ago, so he's one of the best, arguably one of the best fullback in the game. He's definitely in that conversation. So he's got a whole bunch of talent. Young, also the Warriors captain, leader of the Warriors team, trying to rebuild that team, and she's moved on and going elsewhere. So a big loss for the Warriors.
Loss for the Warriors if that was to happen. And as a rugby league fan, you don't want to see him leave. But highly speculative at this stage.
Yep.
It's sad to see. I think it's one of those things if New Zealand combined their rugby union and their rugby league team, or if there wasn't rugby league in New Zealand, the All Blacks would literally never lose.
Yeah.
That they are just, that is scary talent.
Isn't
it? It's nearly cruel that it's split into, it's probably an 80-20 split, but
it's probably worse than that. It's probably like 95 to 5 kind of thing.
I don't know if it'd be that much. Rugby is king, obviously, in New Zealand, but there's a lot of league. There's still a lot of league.
Well, there's a lot of boys that come over to Australia to join academies and things like that. They pick him up, like Benji, classic example. They brought him across for high school and goes through the academy, through the system, and he comes out. So they definitely got some talent that come out of the island.
So strange, isn't it? That there's rugby union and rugby league. There's no other example.
Yeah.
There's no other example where
sports that are that close. And
it's two sports.
NFL and Canadian football.
Actually, that's a pretty good example.
Oh, come on, that's
the same thing, just slightly different rules. That's
a fair assessment actually, because it's 13 aside, isn't it, in the CFL?
20 yards longer or something. It is slight tinkering. This is whatever.
I think
we could sit
that's
here.
a good analogy.
That's as good as we get. Thanks for shitting on the
analogy.
Sean. That was great. I thought an open discussion for everyone, and you just shut it down in 8 seconds. Thanks, man.
Well, they used to do back in the 80s. They used to have the Kangaroos play the Wallabies and do exhibition games, but mixed rules and shit.
They stopped that because the other one they dominated in their sport.
It's however you tinker the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to favour. Yeah,
exactly.
I thought of another example. There's cricket and baseballs, but it's probably a bit of a stretch.
That's
ball and bat sports.
Completely different
What about
sports.
something like UFC, mixed martial arts?
Well, no, mixed martial. The UFC
is a combination of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But you've got like karate versus judo. Yes.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but for team-based sports.
Team-based sports,
a few stretches here.
Yeah, we've really God, how long? We're 20 minutes in, we're already stretching it.
Anyway, let's finish up with the NRL news. So Anthony Milford breaks his hand at training. There's some talk he may miss round 1, but I saw during the news he's like, I'll be right, I'll play. So, and some talk about him possibly being the future captain for the team. Who knows? So it'd be interesting what Kevin Walters wants to do with that squad. There's some chat. I think Kevin Walters stormed out of an interview because they were trying to ask him about Payne Haas and other stuff, but he was trying to promote this boxing card, which we'll talk about in a second. So interesting talk about Brisbane and how that club is heading in the off season. Not much of the talk, not about the actual club, about what's happened to the players.
Can you get stuck into this boxing card? I'll get the boys some beers. Is everyone thirsty?
I would love one, please, Tony, while you're up and about.
I only found this out because I was reading a story about Kevin Walters storming out in the press conference about him trying to provide some comment on the upcoming boxing card. But it looks like a whole bunch of the Queensland boys have got together to put together this all-stars boxing night, I think it is, for Friday the coming week, where they're got a
All
list of
Sundays,
some big names. Like it's a good card for like if you're NRL. The boxing is probably going to be the talent wise mediocre, but some really good interesting matchups. So one, you got Sam Thaiday against Willie Mason. So I think Mason's had one or two kind of boxing fights, but he's a big unit
And
for Sammy.
that was an old Queensland, New South Wales
Yeah, a couple
battle.
of big props bopping into each other.
Yeah.
Got some 12-ounce gloves on.
Willie's a lot taller than Thaiday, isn't
Yes,
he?
well, you've
and,
got-
and I assume
Willie's
a fair
like
bit
your
heavier.
size, and Sam's
Big Willie over here.
height
Call me
wise.
Little Willie.
Uh,
Take that as you will.
yeah.
It's
Make way for Willie.
grease me up, woman. Anyways, this is a sports show, not a Simpsons
Yeah.
show. I think that's fascinating because
Yeah.
obviously, there would have been a little bit bad blood back in the day. They would have played a lot of footy against each other. The thing that stands out to me is the size difference. But
Yeah, for that one. And then next one, you got Justin Hodges versus Sandor Earl.
hang on, I had one more joke
Yeah.
out of that one.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, who's Thaiday bringing along to be the third man in that fight?
Very good.
Thank you. Continue.
Yeah. So Justin Hodges, who has been doing a
He
bit
can
of
box, man.
Yeah, he got knocked out in his last heavyweight
That's
fight,
because he was fighting them.
a real heavyweight.
Yeah.
Sandor Earl, a former winger, will probably look good. I'm not sure how his boxing chops, but that'll be interesting. Again, I think Earl's a New South Welshman, so
New South Welshman, yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Who's a
Is this,
Raiders-
looking at this now, is
Former
that a deliberate thing? Is
Raiders
this?
Junior or
Uh,
Oh, no,
no, the last two not.
no,
but
okay.
yeah. Following on for that, you got Scott Prince versus Todd Carney.
It's like a state of origin.
So I'll probably back Todd Carney in this. He's probably had more fights in Queanbeyan than Scott Prince has.
Yeah, the Goulburn, yeah.
Goulburn, yeah, true.
I did see Scotty Prince in Mooseheads one night. Shout out Mooseheads, and he was very angry. He was about 3 foot tall, but he was moving around. He wasn't a happy man.
He seemed like a nice guy on the field.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I think Todd will have a bit of size on him. But the next one, Juna Polo versus Neville Costigan.
Neville, you are a brave man.
Yeah, very. I'm interesting how Paulo and then, the last one being Josh Papali versus Ben Hannett. I think Paulo and Josh are the only two currently playing. Is Ben still playing for the Cowboys? Not sure.
I think he's done, Ben Hannett.
Yeah.
Yeah, God.
But I'm surprised the Eels and the Raiders gave him a release to have a boxing
Yeah,
match.
that's very unusual. Very unusual, actually.
But
Well,
it is for charity, so I can see where they've kind of probably twisted the arm a little bit to
But
get him on
that's-
this, but
Yeah.
still.
This is highly speculative because I don't know if Junior Paulo can break his jaw, but but imagine if he breaks his jaw or has something and then misses games. Yeah, it is unusual that a current player would be allowed to do this. It makes me think it might be a little bit exhibition-y in nature.
Well, he's got Costigan, who's probably not known as a boxer, so he's
And
right.
we were talking about crossover of sports, getting bopped in the head a few times and running the ball 40 times at another bloke that weighs 130 kilos. There's rugby league props and boxing, pretty similar sports there.
Exactly right.
Blokes built for boxing, those heads. So
For sure.
Neville
But,
was a second rower, and part-time hooker, so I don't think he's probably going to have 40 kilos less than Paulo's going to have, so that's going to be, an interesting one.
I
think-
I'd say 40 kilos. Mate,
But Paulo's probably...
15, 20 kilos, maybe.
Maybe. It depends on what shape Neville's in. He might have trimmed
Yeah.
down. He could be at 90 and
Maybe
Paulo's could be at
Or maybe
130.
maybe he's blown out since he's
True. I'm actually thinking the Josh Papali, Ben Hannett is the fight of the card for me. The two big boys, probably very close to similar size, I would have thought.
I can't
bit of
stand how
nuggets.
Coley does that. Sorry. Waits till the last second every time.
We've currently got India playing England on the telly, thanks to KO. If you're looking for any podcasts
Well,
to plug you.
I won't be watching. I won't be paying money to watch this boxing card. I'll wait to hear the results on the Esky with
Be interesting what
Sean.
the results are, yeah.
Other than
You don't have to
that,
pay
But I thought it was
money. You just
interesting.
have to go to the pub as you normally would. That's paid the money to watch it.
Yeah. There is one more fight on this card as well. Matt Bowen and Craig Gower.
Ooh,
shit,
interesting.
yeah.
Matty Bowen
yeah.
would be a little bit smaller than Craig Gower, you'd think.
Smaller
Weight-wise,
average,
yes.
yeah.
They're both 1'7".
Really?
Yep.
One
Craig Gower's that short.
Yeah.
Huh.
metre 7.
I was thinking 1'7". I was like, where the fuck do you get these stats from?
Yeah, they're actually rolling fighting. So it's yeah.
A metre, 170 centimetres.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Not
hitting on
out
the
for
wrist.
those. Playing at home.
Not
Is that
out,
all
that's
our?
forearm.
Is that all our rugby league? What have you just added
Well,
there?
Yeah,
Jimmy's
what's-
just added the Wally Lewis story, who another bloke that has recently separated from his missus, kind of again affecting the family a lot. Bit of a chat about an affair, and he's just what's the word, public with his new misso. So
there was a bit of a report in the Courier Mail. So allegedly it's coming out that
yeah.
he had a bit of a relationship with someone up in Townsville when he was going up there covering games.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big shout.
The king.
Yeah,
A
so
little bit of a side hustle when he's going up there to see the Cowboys.
that's it. Yeah, so probably not too noteworthy, but
We've become a gossip show now.
Yeah.
A bit of,
This is too reality for me.
Yeah,
Let's move on.
exactly.
People start
couple
affairs. We're not the day.
couple of affairs for a bloke. We got a bloke at the table here who's getting married in a couple of weeks, so I don't want to put any ideas in his head here with all these affairs and scandals we've got
Yeah,
going
just
on.
Don't go to Townsville.
Yeah.
Hopefully Sarah's not listening to 45.
Sarah, I'm obviously-
46 minutes in, I'm proud of you for one. And for two, we didn't even have a stripper at the bush party. So.
I think you're good.
Jimmy
I
was
think
there.
you're good, Sarah.
yeah.
Anyway.
Do anyone want to talk about sport?
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's what we came here to do.
Exactly.
Right.
Let's get into some cricket. So,
Yes.
Pepe, do you want to run us through how the test matches are going at the
So
moment?
we currently have 3 tests underway. As mentioned, India and England, we will get stuck into that in just a second. The height of test cricket, Bangladesh and West Indies, they're 3 days in. Bangladesh made 430. They batted 150 overs for that. That's quite impressive. There's a young bloke, Mahidi Hassan, who made 103 batting 8, his first test ton. He's a 23-year-old off spinner. He's already got 22 tests under his belt. So he's looking good.
Remember the name?
Yeah, Mahidi Hassan. Windies in reply make 259. Craig Braithwaite opening the bat gets 76. Jermaine Blackwood 68 in the middle order there, and then
Is that Braithwaite brother?
I don't know.
I think they are Craig and Carlos are brothers.
are
Yeah.
playing for the
Yeah.
Sixers, obviously, in tomorrow night's Big Bash final. I do believe they are related.
And we were talking about that last week. Carlos Brathwaite playing in the Big Bash final while his country's having a
Yeah,
test
getting-
match. Isn't that?
Getting 430 put on them by Bangladesh.
Such as their number 8's just dicking them around for a couple of hours.
They're
Like,
dying. Like the
Yeah.
West Indies test team is dying, and the ODIs is the same. They just want to play T20 cricket. It seems.
That's filthy from Joe Root.
Yeah, that's
Joe Root is racing towards another double 100 as we speak. We will discuss that in a second. That man again, Mahidi Miraz, he had 4 for 58 of his 26. I imagine they're back underway now.
I think Bangers, they were in trouble early, but they've got a lead of about 200
You don't see them losing this game.
So
in Bangladesh, I think it is.
Bangladesh declared 8 for 223, with Indies are 0 for 18 at the moment.
Okay,
So they got 400.
so
370.
So would have to be some sort of record you'd think for the Windies to win this one. Would just
2 days to do it, but yeah, I can't
Yeah.
imagine in Chittagong it's going to go down too well.
rank Turner, you'd imagine day 5 in Chittagong. Second test match currently underway, Pakistan and South Africa. As we mentioned last week, great to see test cricket back in Pakistan. I think it's the 5th test back, after a 10-year hiatus. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of rain affecting the start. Pakistan, again, shaky start. They were 3 for 32 at one stage. You remember in the first test, their bowlers made like 170 with the bat.
Tail wag, big
Really,
time.
yeah, the tail wagged to save him in that one. Yesterday it was Baba Azam and Fahim Ashraf actually with the 77 and 78 not out to get him to 272. And I've been practicing this.
Here we go.
We made an absolute meal of it the other day.
Absolute botch job with the name.
And in my defence, the way it is spelt is Nortje. But I've watched a little bit of YouTube. I've brushed up on my Afrikaans. Anrek Nortje.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Much better.
Anrek Nortje. I'm not sure where that K comes from. Sort your shit out, Afrikaans speakers. Just lost.
Just don't ask the skipper here to just pronounce any of these names.
No. Don't know how I got that one out. 5 for 56. He bowls wheels.
Yeah, you were saying there
Yeah,
this morning.
and I think he hasn't played 10 tests yet, but he's got a bright future ahead of him. He's in the IPL. He's definitely one to watch out for. And when he's getting polls when Rabada can't, that speaks volumes, I suppose, of his ability. Can someone got this game? So at the time of the notes being written here, the Saffers were 4 for 106. That was stump
Just
state
been
2.
rolled for 201.
Ooh.
Your man Arnrick not out for 0. Bavuma 44 not out. De Kock got out pretty early today. Wilhelm Mulder run out. And not much else to report there. Oh no, our boy Arnrick got a gold. So there he went.
Pumping up his tyres
Pumped
with
him
the
up.
ball, obviously.
Hassan Ali 5 for 50.
Yeah, Hassan Ali, he had, I think, 2 wickets in that that initial collapse. Who's the number 3 there for South Africa? He got a goal.
Rassie van der Dussen.
Van der Dussen, and he got an absolute stinker. This thing should have probably been taken the top of off, maybe going over off, and it's just hit something and
Rolled under the bat.
Not quite a roll, but it stayed very low. And reminded me of myself batting on 5th grade.
Uncovered
here in the
decks.
ACT, yeah.
Oh well, you don't play cricket there for 10 years, Pakistan. This is just what happened. So
That's true. That is true. So interesting test match shaping up there.
pretty
Obviously,
even, 70 ahead.
Yeah, 70 ahead at the time of recording. And that probably brings us into the biggest one going on at the moment, India and England.
Before we start that, quick fact checked.
Yes.
Fact check.
You fucked
Carlos and Craig are not brothers.
Any,
Oh,
any
wow.
There you
relation?
go. Well, I'm a
No
dick.
relations, but they used to go to school together.
Wow.
Oh, give me
Yeah.
a break. God, I was just checking the school year, but you would have thought the two Brathwaite boys were.
There you go. So maybe distantly related. Why is
Possibly.
Rihanna in that picture?
I don't know. Apparently, they used to go to school with Rihanna as well,
Okay.
back in Barbados.
That's cool. There you go, listeners. Now you know something new.
So England versus India. Oh, fuck. Fuck that.
Playing in Indonesia.
No, India. I was
Hang out
getting
at
there,
Bali.
but I just started a bit. So England versus India in India. It's day 2 just after lunch. Do you want to run through the sides?
Yeah, I think it's worth having a look because there's
Do you have the sides there, Jimmy?
few of these guys in the English side that I'm not super aware of.
Like I said last week, they were rotating their quicks throughout this series, just with a quick turnaround in Sri Lanka. I think it was a 2 or 3 game series. They're looking at 6 or 7 games in Asia. Ashes coming up at the end of the year. Obviously, Broad and Anderson getting on in age. No point burning them out. So that's what they've gone with. So I'll just do one of my voices going on. Rory Burns, Dom Sibley, Dan Lawrence, Joe Root, Stokes, Ollie Pope, Josh Butler, Dom Bess, Jofra, Jack Leach, and Jimmy Anderson ran at the 11. And for the Indians, I think it was Rohit Sharma, Shubman, Pujara, Kohli, King Kohli back, Rahane, Pant with the gloves on, Washington Sundar, Ravi Ashwin, Ishant back into the team, Jasprit Bumrah with his first game in India for India, which we were talking about that earlier. That's
Unbelievable.
shocking.
How many tests has he played?
This is 18, so 17 tests. He's taken nearly 100 polls, all overseas. So I think everyone's pretty excited to see him go to work
he's
in
an
India.
absolute bloody weapon outside of India, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do in his home
Absolutely.
country.
Shabazz Nadeem to round out the 11 there.
The little story on Shabazz Nadeem, he's playing his 2nd test ever. I think Jadeja still unavailable through injury, and then Kuldeep Yadav I think was available, healthy scratch to get Nadeem in. I'm pretty sure
What happened to our boy Hardik?
Hardik in the squad, obviously an excellent short form player of the game, just omitted, I imagine.
Yeah. They've got a strong side.
We were
as
talking
were
about last week, the depth that they have,
Such
and
big depth.
for Nadeem to come in, I think it is his left arm tweakers, is that?
Left arm orthodox.
Orthodox,
So
yeah.
I suppose a Jadeja-esque guy with the ball, obviously not much chop with the bat compared to Jadeja. But yeah, interesting. His first test was, I think, in 2019, so 2 years out of the side against South Africa. He had 4 for 40 in the match in that game. So
Hasn't been able to squeeze back in until now. Dropped after getting 4 for those stiff, but
it was like we were talking about Karun Nair. Who made 300 back in 2016 and only ended up playing 6 tests. Another testament to the depth for the Indian cricket team.
Do you want to close that, Jimmy?
Joe Root.
Well, let's talk where they are at the moment.
He's currently on 192. England are 4 for 428. Obviously, an excellent start for the Poms here in India. We were concerned for them considering what just happened to our beloved Australian team here, and they've really looking the goods after 5 sessions on the back of their star, Joe Root.
Well, and Stokes. So Stokes just got out before. So Pope's in.
80 odd.
87, I think he got.
Devil's number.
He was trying to hit one into the stands.
82 it was.
Yeah, 82, sorry. Yeah, he tried to hit one in the stands and got caught because he didn't get it far enough. But, the two have really put on a big partnership.
Massive partnership. And also shout out to Dom Sibley, made 87 there, opening the bat.
That's the 87.
286 rocks.
Yeah, 286 rocks. So Pujara-esque there, striking at 30, but obviously chewing up that new ball, doing an opener's job. Pepsi-esque.
Shout out the Yams.
Shout out the Yams, big game tomorrow. Dom Sibley, he's the name I wasn't super aware of, so I had a little read. He's actually playing his 9th test. He's already got 2 tons for England, averaging about 36. So you'd probably like to see that come up a little bit. It's been an absolutely like a carousel of opening bats for them.
3,
like since the sort of Strauss Trescothic days.
Yes. Well, Al Cook obviously pinned that down.
And then Al Cook after Trescothic. So I think Strauss and Cook probably would have played 40 odd tests together. Then before that, Strauss and Trescothic, and then since then been an absolute rotating door. So it would be interesting to see if these guys can set up a good opening partnership.
Exactly right.
Rory Burns has been there for a while now.
They're pretty big on Burns, a bit of an odd technique, but very similar to how Sibley batted today or this test match. Just chews up balls, lets them go past. Let's leave it well. That's what we need. I mean, as Australian, I'm craving to get someone to face 200 balls and get a 60 odd. Like that would be fantastic because this is what they've done. Sibley's gone at 30 to get 87 and Root's come in. He's doing his job. Stokes comes in. There's your run scorers. There's your flair.
Yep.
You've chewed up. You're playing in a hot day in India.
Yep.
They've got to chase around.
Yep.
Watch Dom Sibley, kill the ball back to back. Let it go to the keeper.
Old school test approach. And with the advent of T20 cricket over the last 10 years, you have seen it sort of creep into test matches and guys do go out there and, if you're not striking at 60 or 70, you're hurting the team.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly. You've got 5 days to bat.
Yeah, as Pujara showed, and now these guys today, sometimes you just got to do an opener's job and go out there and choose some balls.
Kill the ball, exactly right. And we're talking, Joe Root now, we've just been watching since we started recording. He hasn't looked like missing a ball. He has looked so good.
Oh, he's so in.
He's an excellent player of spin.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
What's his average in Asia?
His average in Asia is just a tick under 60. He's probably getting up towards that now. His average in India is 64. So, that's up there with the all-time greats.
Yeah,
that is. You want to talk about conditions playing a big part in cricket and going away from home, the green decks, the swinging, the overcast conditions. You couldn't be more different to the rank turners we've got here.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, talking about this pitch, you can see Ashwin's completely turning on it, and it looks like they've got clay in the pitch. It's that red.
And there you go, another reverse
just playing
sweep.
Reverse laps, no regard for his stumps. Yeah. Can we get the weather in Chennai? I would love to see the temperature. It looks dry. This pitch looks dry.
Yeah. For a day 2 pitch, yeah.
I can't imagine that it would be too hot this time of the year, but I'd love to know. So Root, he's
sunny and 29.
And I imagine
that's good cricket weather.
Indian 29.
Indian 29, I reckon, would be a little bit different.
29. Watching the
Canberra 29.
Yeah, watching Root just dab the ball around.
50% humidity.
Now, we've sort of been away from Joe Root for the last couple of years. We've talked about Kohli's come here, hasn't done much against us. We've seen what Kane Williamson's been doing. We know what Steve Smith does. Joe Root's well and truly put himself back into the top 4.
Yeah.
Where we'll do a bit of a round table here. Give us. I mean, they're the top 4 batsmen in world cricket. Where would you rank those 4? Go 1 through 4. How would you rank them?
Well, I think we had this chat before that statistically it's Steve Smith ahead of Kohli, then Kane Williamson, and then you've probably got Root straight after that.
And to clarify, this is just talking about Test cricket.
Test cricket.
Just Test
Test
cricket.
Yeah.
But I was
And
looking at
Bruce
some
just brought up his double ton. So
with a 6. So
Jesus, there we go.
That's interesting
20
there for Joe Root. 49 50s, 20 100s. So I suppose
Not a great conversion rate
if there is a criticism, it's perhaps that conversion rate. Can't argue with his form.
yeah, he's formed recently because he's just hit this 200. He had
At 186 and 220
against
in,
Bangladesh. So yeah, he's
no,
been
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka,
Against
sorry.
Lanka.
Yes, sorry.
So in his last 5 innings, he's scored like 700 runs.
Yeah. So I mean, if I'm going right now, I'm probably putting Kane Williamson up top. I'm just jealous of everything he does.
But
Steve Smith had
I
a bit of
think
a rough summer.
Smith at 2, but
as we said, he had a rough summer, but he still averaged 40.
I think he was the second highest run scorer in the
He was
series.
in the
So
end.
yeah, I'd go Smith 2. I'd probably put Root above Kohli. Recency
On form,
bias
on
to be
form,
by
on
it. I mean,
form.
God, the bloke hasn't played. He's been
The
looking
whole of
after his
India's
kids.
coming after you.
Yeah, well, bring it on. 1.4 billion. Yeah, little bloke in Canberra. I'll take that on. Well, I mean, look. God, Kohli's killed us that many times. He's killed world cricket. It's almost like seeing this is going to fire him up. He's going to want to, you score 200. Watch me, watch me score 300.
Well, we want to go out here and score 700. We're going to bat for the next 3 days. So, interesting stat. I think Kohli's on 41 Test centuries, which is equal with Ricky Ponting. So if he scores another century, he'll take over Ricky Ponting, who I think second on the all-time list with Tendulkar at 1 at 53 tests.
He had 100 hundreds, I know that, between one-day cricket and tests.
Yeah.
Most Test centuries.
So it's interesting. He's had 189 tests compared to Ponting's 300 odd, and they're at the same
Innings.
Innings.
Ricky Ponting started when he was 6.
It's true. So innings for his 41, so he's about half of that. And then I know Steve Smith's at 20 Test centuries from 90, so he's half what Kohli is. So he's on same pace to match what Kohli is, if not beat it.
It's great. I mean, it's great for Test
crazy.
cricket. Yeah, it's great.
There's so good for that.
4 blokes from 4 different countries, 4 different teams, all batting in the middle of the innings. It's great to see. I mean, we all love Test cricket here. It absolutely, gives you something to talk to. Like now we've
pinnacle
got
of cricket.
Absolutely. Like, you can't help but say, the winner of Root and Kohli might decide who wins this series. So the bowling lineups are pretty well matched. This is a monster score here. I mean, they've got Ollie Pope in now. He can hit a long bomb. Josh Butler's coming in.
About to come out. So if they want to unleash him,
if they put 600 on here, that's good. The worst they can do is draw it. So
yep.
Scary to see this because we just lost to these children, the Indian team that they brought out. We've got the Ashes. We've got the Ashes coming up. So
as a lot of our listeners were pointing out, it wasn't even an India A side. They thought it was like an India, a third tier India side that's just beaten us here in Australia, and now England looking the goods over there. It's a little bit concerning for us as Aussie cricket fans.
Yeah, because that's a great point and kind of good transition for us because India have back-to-back series against England. So they got this one here in India and then they go across to England before Australia play England for the Ashes at is the end of the year or start of the year? End of the year.
It'll be the
middle of
the year, like September-ish?
No, it won't be that early. It'll start
November,
December. Yeah, late November, early December. So
sorry, it's here. Yeah,
we're hosting.
It's here.
Apologies.
Yeah, it's not in England. Yeah, so it's here. But with Australia, and so that's a big story for Australian Test cricket. They've just cancelled. Were they talk postponing originally? But anyway, they cancelled the South African tour, which means they probably won't have any Test cricket now till they actually play England for the Ashes. And you could say they're probably a bit undercooked at the moment with how they played against India. They want guys healthy. They want to get some Test cricket under their belt. They need some form. Guys like Warner and Stark, as example. Nathan Lyon didn't have a great summer. And they probably want a bit of Test cricket under their belt before they have to play England for the Ashes. Probably a good thing it's here versus in England.
Yeah,
I'd be a lot more concerned if it was in England. But yeah, it could be a long term before they play any Test cricket.
Yeah,
and then compared to England, who are going to have a great series against India in India, then have to back that up, play India at home. Again, it's probably going to be a great series.
Yeah, they'll have 9 tests under their belt
Exactly.
before we play one.
It wouldn't shock me if they gave like an Afghanistan a call and said, come here in September, October and play a 2-game series.
They did want to do that during our summer. Do you remember it was going to be a Perth game and that got canned.
Yeah, it would. I mean, you're probably not going to get a big nation to sort of do it. I think all the red tape you'd have to go through. But something like Afghanistan, you'd throw some money at them to come and tour.
New Zealand maybe at a stretch just because of the locality. I mean, maybe we could do a bubble kind of thing where like that might work, but then New Zealand would probably be like, maybe not. So let's go back to Australia have cancelled the tour. They're not going to go to South Africa. South Africa, of course, not very happy with the
Graham
decision.
Smith had some harsh words.
Definitely to say,
bending over backwards essentially.
They basically had agreed to everything Cricket Australia had asked. The whole bubble request that every staff member and every person is going to interact with everyone. Yeah. Part of it needed to quarantine for 2 weeks beforehand, have negative tests before we even get involved. No crowds, the whole shebang. But Cricket Australia says, it's not a great call. Understandable because England had just been over there and they had a bunch of stuff, bunch of tests. The whole game's postponed. A lot of issues, staff members getting COVID, etc. So they've kind of put a whole line through that, which not great for Australian cricket.
No.
Maybe interesting because we're just talking about New Zealand, the T20 teams. Do some of these Australian blokes that have got nothing better to do? Maybe just David Warner as example. Go and play some T20. Do they bring him in, or do they keep the squad they've got?
I hope not. That would be pretty harsh on a couple of those young blokes we were mentioning last week. That we're going to just throw Steve Smith in that. I know, we want to win. We need to start taking. How do you fit
him in when you're talking about those other five blokes that just dominated in Big Bash League?
And we want to start taking T20 a bit more seriously, but you can't do that. When are they going? In a week?
Yeah,
it's pretty soon. What's the date?
It's end of Feb.
It's very soon. Yeah, so
it's like the 20th or something.
Yeah.
So
I wonder what else is happening on 20th. But anyway,
I think the more likely option is these guys come back and start playing some Shield cricket, which is meant to resume on the 12th. Yep. So you might see a New South Wales team that's got David Warner, Steve Smith, and the Australian bowling lineup.
And Peter Neville.
Yes.
Don't leave him out.
Well, let's talk. Great segue. Let's talk about Neville kind of either because he's of age getting pushed back a bit, and then Cummins actually taking over the captaincy to start grooming him towards being the Australian captain. So be the captain of the Shield team. So start getting used to that aspect of. You can't rest in the field. You got to start thinking about field positions.
You got to set field.
Yeah,
exactly. The whole technique
steam in for 30 overs.
Yeah, this is what I was saying it last week. He's our vice captain. It's a bit of a nothing role, to be honest. Like we just said, all right, you've just bowled your opening spell. You probably want to go to mid-wicket and just switch off for a bit. And I know you can't switch off because the ball could be coming to you at any time, but as the captain, you got to be... Constant. And maybe it's a situation... It wouldn't shock me if it's... Because there was talk of it early last summer. Cummins is the captain, but the on-field stuff is given to the Smith and the Warner behind the stumps. And they sort of actually do the intricacies of the fielding because Payne can literally only do so much behind the stumps. The others can get the angles a bit better, and so again, I hate it. I would hate to put that on his shoulders as well. We see what we do to Tim Payne, the way the media treats him. How could you possibly give that to Pat Cummins? Like he's the fact we've got him healthy and bowling as well as he can. Let's just let him do that. Let him lead our attack, lead our bowlers. Let's not. A heap of extra pressure on him. I mean, who is the captain? The only questions I have about our team, which is kind of not the best thing. I mean, South Africa seem to be in a similar position where our teams pick themselves, but we're not very good at the moment, which isn't a good thing. We got a question of 5.
We've only got 11 blokes.
Pretty much. We've got a question of 5. Davey Warner is a question mark. Maybe our third bowler. And then the captain.
Davey Warner, question mark.
Well, I don't know. Just purely form.
He's got to be healthy. He's
got to be healthy.
Made 300.
Is Marnus a captain?
Less than 2 years ago.
If you were keen on Carey coming through, I'm sort of jumping ahead here, but if you're also keen, I know Shawnee's not the biggest Tim Payne fan in the room, so...
I'm on the loose bash change for captain.
He's played 18 tests.
Bandwagon. What am I thinking? Bus. Anyway,
the loose bus change, I imagine.
I'm on the loose bus change bus. I'm on his bandwagon. Like,
and he's a nerd as well.
Yeah, so like cricket.
They
exactly.
make good captains.
He like
Steve Waugh, like
look at the shadow batting of Smith, and like Marnus wants to be Steve Smith, who's in the same team as him. So he's only played 18 tests, but I think Tim Payne had played 10 or something. I mean, obviously, much different circumstances and stuff with sandpaper gate and
damage
stuff.
control.
But I mean, if
he could be captain for the next 10 years.
Yeah, he's
so.
I think
26, I think, or 27.
26, I believe.
So again, I still think Payne. I mean, our next Test match will be the first Ashes Test. I think you got to have Tim Payne with the gloves on. The good thing is we have the end of this Shield season and the start of next Shield season, so you've actually got a fairly good block to fill in those blanks. Really, if Mitch Stark are you going to be it? Well, you've got 7 or 8 Shield games.
For New South Wales.
Take 30 poles. Who wants to be 5? Travis Head. Hit 3 tons in that time. Davey Warner get healthy. Okay, cool. Now these spots are filling in. Cam Green and Pekovsky have another summer where they can dominate. Payne, as long as he's keeping well and just doing his thing. I think, I'm not doom and gloom with the Aussie cricket team. I've seen a bit of that over the last couple of years. So
it'd be really interesting with the Shield that they actually might get back into the Shield and play a lot more Shield cricket instead of jetting all over the world to play T20 competitions because the international travel's not real great. So that's a huge win for Shield cricket. So
absolutely. Well, if we've got all these players, put them on TV. Fox Cricket's got a deal. Get some Fox, and then all of a sudden people are watching Shield cricket. I remember watching the ING Cup, the Pura Cup back when I was a little kid.
I remember begging my dad to go down, because we've got family in Adelaide. Can we go to the Adelaide Oval to watch South Australia play Victoria? And on weekends, always.
Mark Cosgrove hit a big ball.
No, it would have been before that. It would have been like
Matthew Elliott
Jamie
type.
Siddons.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking being a young bloke and getting cricket magazines and looking at all the Shield scores. Yeah. And it's just it's like it doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's just this
everyone
backdrop.
wants to talk about the Australian cricket team, but no one wants to watch Shield cricket. And a lot of it does come down to the coverage.
And the Australian guys aren't playing in the Shield.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the day, your Aussie players would be playing in half the Shield games.
Yeah. We've got an Australia A team that plays in Tri-Series with us because we've got that many good cricketers at domestic level.
Well, maybe that's a commitment we can make on the Esky is to cover the Shield in depth and have a look at it so we can actually, when people start looking at who should be in the Australian team, we'll have it covered. Yeah, we've got facts and data and numbers to support it.
I love it. No opposition here. I think it's a good thing.
So I wanted to ask a point on Cummins because we're talking about him fielding. Very unconventional for a fast bowler, but could you see him moving into the slips as part of that if you're going to make him captain?
No.
Just because then he could be next to Steve Smith and say Tim Payne as a.
I think you are costing your team more than anything. That's a natural thing to be in the slips. I remember seeing. Warney must have been injured, or it must have been just after Warney finished and Matt Hayden had just finished. So they were our first slippers. I remember Andrew Simons going in there, and I remember him being a cover, and he's a great fielder.
Well, excellent.
I remember him dropping several catches at first slip. You are costing your team.
Yeah, and Big Roy, one of the most deadly guys at cover or point, and then it's just a different position. And again,
you talk about concentrating every ball. If you're at square leg, you can nap for a couple overs. If you're at first slip, it's coming. It is literally could be coming to you. And look at our bowlers. We don't get bowled. We don't get LBW. We get snicks. Tim Payne's taken more catches than anyone in the last couple of years.
He probably doesn't want to be on the other end of say a Stark ball coming through, and if he drops it, then Stark gets stuck into him.
Exactly right. And
I'm just talking the captaincy wise. Does that kind of, if he's going to be captain, does that force him to be in more closer to the wicket than say on the boundary or something like that?
Yeah, I don't think even if he does get the captaincy, which I don't think that will happen.
Long stretch.
If he goes to a mid-on, then he's at the bowler's run up every time. So then you've got your captain talking to your bowler every ball, so you could look at that as an advantage.
If it does happen, I think that's a good shout there, Mac, that he's at mid-on, mid-off, something
But then again, when it's his time to bowl, he's just had his brain racing for the last 20 overs, 30 overs, and now he's going to
run 45 metres that way.
I don't like
I'll say this, and I've been wrong. I was wrong last week. I said this tour will go ahead because
too much money.
Because money gets made and no one really cares about COVID until money gets made. I was wrong. I'll eat my hat there. I'll eat my words there. I'll make this statement now. I don't think that Pat Cummins becomes the Test captain of Australia. It's too much on a strike fast bowler.
Is there a betting market on this?
That probably is from our future sponsor, Sports. We need to move on.
So let's it's still similar story, but kind of has flow-on effects. This World Test
Chess Championship. Thank God we got to the chess. I've been waiting 2 weeks now to talk chess.
Queen's Gambit, if anyone has got stuck into that on Netflix, I've never been so enthralled in chess.
Yeah. So World Test Championships. You can just scroll back up, Jimmy. So it's based on, I guess, the results over the summer of how the teams have been playing against each other. Didn't actually know it was a thing that they were all playing this World Test Championships.
Dude, try get you, like we were struggling with the Big Bash finals, the layout of that. Try getting your head around the metrics for this. It's all over the place.
So there's going to be a Test Championship game played at Lords on June the 18th. New Zealand has qualified. Australia can't pass New Zealand, but could possibly finish second. But it wholly depends on how India and England play.
Go rain. That's what we're going for, is rain.
Yeah, lots of rain.
A lot of rain would be good.
Yeah, so India can qualify for this game with a 2-0 record, 2-1, 3-0, 3-1 or 4-0 series win. Whereas England can qualify if they have a 3-1 or 4-0 win against India.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. Well, look, the way they're playing, the way they've started.
I meant for us.
I'm
looking at this completely as an Aussie.
So is that the end of the session or they declared?
End of the session.
End of the session there.
That's T.
England 4 for 4-5-4 at T. Joe Root's still out there. He's batted 5 sessions, if you don't mind. 200.
We're going to see some fireworks coming
odd.
straight out, I reckon.
Yeah, I think the Joss Butler.
Yeah, Butler coming next.
Let's
get a 500, 550 as quick as we can, and then we'll send them in.
Might get a license, as we like to say at the AMS.
So
you have a license.
Very hard to get
license
out,
to hit.
out.
So for Australia to make this World Test Championship go back to this, I think. Yes, it needs to be like a drawn series or like 1-0.
Yeah.
Like there can't be results in the games for Australia to make it in.
I think it is. We're currently second. India are third. England are 4. So England need to absolutely pants India.
Yep.
India pretty much, as long as they win the series, other than 1-0, they'll pretty much get it. We look toast. So.
What's fucked us is this South Africa tour.
Yeah.
We needed this tour.
We only needed a result in that. I think we were essentially locked because so now we can't win points.
Win a test. Or, we could have lost 2-1 or something. We would have got it. But.
Go Black Caps. That's all I can say. So there was a thing. I was reading into it again. Pepsi. I was trying to. I was completely wrong. Oh no, India are first.
Yeah. So New Zealand, but no one can take New Zealand. So New Zealand are qualified, I think.
Well, I don't know how this works
because if India lose, they lose. Yes.
So New Zealand,
their percentage.
It's on percentage,
So India's
not on points.
first currently, but New Zealand, because they don't play, they can't
lose points.
They can't lose points, whereas India can. Like I said, very difficult to get your head around.
Yeah.
It's also interesting.
Australia's on 332 points, but England.
No, but it's
behind. It's on percentage. So our percentage is good. So India
could played less games.
Yeah. So we want England to win one test, but then say no results in the rest of it because they will knock India out and Australia up.
We need Rad. Yeah. As an Australian fan.
Right,
the interesting thing looking at this is the marked difference between the top 4 test sides down to 5, which is Pakistan, who in this current test championship series have only won 37% of their games. England are sitting there on nearly 69%. Australia, New Zealand, India all hovering around that.
70% mark.
Unfortunately for Pakistan as well, they've had 3 draws in that too, so that doesn't help their claims.
You got to finish.
So is England.
The other thing,
but England's played 17 versus their 11.
That's the other thing that's interesting. The number
it's
of
all
tests,
just a percentage.
Like if Bangladesh are playing 17 tests, maybe they're not coming last. But in the period that this has been played over, they've played 3 tests.
They've played.
So I don't know. It's an interesting. It's a little gimmicky, I guess. But I like it.
It's promoting Test cricket, which is good, and
there's a one-day World Cup.
Yeah.
There's a 2020 World Cup. Why not have some sort of pinnacle match?
Well, exactly. So this has been running for 2 years. So it's on not just this summer, but last summer equivalent as well.
I think the idea is you play, not everyone because that's quite hard, but you play most people and you play the same home and away test because we talk about how cricket is so dependent on where you play. So it's that they try to make sure. I mean, COVID obviously ruined life, but
just in general,
that's the main idea of it. Again, I like Test cricket. I'd love for Australia to be up there and undefeated. But the Black Caps being in there is cool. I like the Black Caps. They play cricket the right way. I read a thing. Surrey, the county in England, they have a bigger budget than New Zealand.
There you go. Yeah.
Wow.
Like that's like this is cool. Like and
Shout out to our Kiwi brothers.
Yeah, they are the little
always
brothers.
punch above their weight.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So, and I like Kane Williamson. He's just an old school bat. They've got these young guys coming through. Good on them. I hope they beat England or India.
This is reminiscent of the World Cup as well, I think, when the Black Caps were playing England in the final and every Australian done the Homer Simpson and they've just gone straight back behind the hedge with their Aussie hat and then straight back out with the black cap.
Exactly. Back on Kane Williamson. So ICC, he is ranked number 1 as Test batting.
Yeah, there you go.
Based on form. Where's Root currently?
So Root's currently number 5.
Ooh,
So top 5,
4.
we've got
Labuschagn's
Williamson.
probably in top.
Yeah.
Yep, we've got 2 Smith. Number 3 is Labuschagne.
Yeah.
4 is Coley and 5 is Root.
You'd imagine.
Those rankings again, like whenever it comes to cricket, you've got too many numbers involved. It spits out, and you go, okay, I guess that's what's going on.
Yeah.
The bowling gets really weird because they
It's
throw an
so-
economy rate overs bowled, and it's
Dude, it's
again,
Alan, it's Alan off hangover looking at it. just trying to work it out.
that's why
And
if
then
you're a
make us do
nerd,
quick
cricket's the
maths.
best sport. Like cricket, like there's just numbers going everywhere. It's brilliant.
Yes.
So I think to finish up on Test cricket, we've been getting stuck into Tim Payne as captain, but what about Justin Langer as coach? Because there's a bit of talk coming out, a bit of leaks in the media about players not happy with his style. It's very intense, very strict, very management style, micromanaging kind of style that he's got. Not a huge great. He did out Labuschagne during the week because this whole toasty gate. Labuschagne was trying to take a cheese toasty out on the pitch.
I think he
No, Langer pulled him up on the line and said, "No, you can't do that." And
He
can't take
was
that.
fielding in the outfield. He was hungry.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, it was straight after the lunch break. He was going out after the lunch break and
That's-
trying to take a toasty with him.
Yeah.
And Justin's like, "Hey, mate, we're
we
trying to
just
win
had
a fucking test
and
here."
We just had 40 minutes to eat. You should be fed. That was JL's approach.
Yeah.
I can sort of see eyes to eyes. with
Yeah,
Langer
he's just
here.
like-
you're a professional cricketer.
Exactly. You don't want to be on TV like on Channel 7, munch down on a fucking toasty just as
getting
you
me
come
hungry.
back
He's a
out.
weird bloke, man. He's a weird bloke.
Little,
I think he'd be great
ham,
as captain,
cheese,
so-
tomato.
It's such
What do you guys think of Justin and his kind of coaching career for Australia, considering the whole sandpaper gate? Was that a year in for him?
No, it was
No.
Darren Lehman. That's what led to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
getting
so
the
Lehman-
job.
so he's
he
been
was
taking-
the in. He was
Yeah, he was the Tim Payne
freshened
of
it up.
coaching.
Yeah.
And I think it was, we need this, strict iron fist micromanaging type now. Clearly there's all these loose ends. But I think it's hard because we think of Justin Langer with Matthew Hayden as growing up and he was just great. He was a part of this, like that team.
dominance.
Like you go Langer, Hayden, Ponting, Martin, Hussey, Clark, Simon, something there, Gilchrist bowlers. Like that's my childhood. I've literally got a poster in my room still. Girlfriend's
There was a
very
decade
unhappy
of
with.
that team just dominating everything.
So I still think of Justin Langer being that, gritty left-hander,
Yeah.
and he's the coach. John Buchanan, who was the coach during that time, no one really knows. The coach of the cricket team shouldn't really be the person talking to the media. I think we bring in Buff Lehman, who again, he was a very good cricket player. I think it's actually underrated how good Darren Lehman was,
Yes.
both Test and white ball cricket.
Yeah.
Langer is nearly too good to be the coach. Like,
Yeah.
you need your coach to be able to sort of organise things and sit back. And we've had Steve Waugh, Michael Clark, Ricky Ponting, Steve Smith. These are our very best players as your captains. So now our captain's not our best player, and our coach is, we think of our coach as this all-time great. That dynamic is now shifted to coach being empowered. So it's not really answering your question, but it's just a very interesting
if you-
dynamic how we're working it now.
Well, great kind of segue. If you take Justin out and say you put Ricky in.
But I mean, there's only a handful of blokes who have done more than Justin Langer for cricket. Ricky Ponting's
Ricky Ponting's that guy.
the guy. I didn't
I
mind.
don't think Punter would want that job.
No.
I think he likes the media.
Yeah.
I think he likes these IPL, like he's
Yeah.
like,
Sitting back.
I think he's T20.
analytical. Yeah, he has some input in the T. He might be the T20 coach.
Well,
I
I,
thought
think
he's
that
the
was the
coach of one
initial
of them.
plan. They were going to give Ricky the T20, Langer can be Test, and I think it was like Di Venuto or someone they wanted to make one day.
yeah.
And I love that idea because they are becoming more and more different sports, T20 and Test cricket.
Yeah.
So why not give, let's not bring Sean Abbott to India because South because he's not going to bowl. He's our best T20 bowler.
Yeah.
Take him to
Yeah.
T20 with our best T20 team.
This is funny because we're talking about rugby league and rugby union.
Well, this is cricket, but it's
This is
They're completely different.
Maybe this is the schism in cricket.
Yeah,
It's
exactly
the last 10
right.
years has been the schism.
You didn't just like that word, didn't you? You've dropped that a couple of times
Just wanted to
now.
throw
If
that
anyone
one
is
in
playing
there.
at home, I
Or
believe it's
chasm?
usually
Is it chasm?
no schism.
No,
Schism?
Yeah.
It's the split of religions, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you've done well there.
Thanks.
That's your word.
Catholic
Andrew
and
O'Keefe.
Church, right.
Andrew O'Keefe taught me that one on the chase this week. Shout
That's
out
the
to
word of the day
OK.
calendar, I reckon.
Hope he'll be also in some hot water himself. That's another-
It's story for another day.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really given an answer either way. I just think the way we're now dealing with cricket is Justin Langer is the face, where he's your cricket coach. You actually have no real input once the team's picked and they're out there.
yeah. Yep.
You can tell the bloke's not to eat a toasty out there, but he's the one standing out there for 80 overs.
Yeah.
He's the one who actually needs to grind out there.
You probably give him
overs,
speeches
so-
at the end of every session when the guys come in at lunch. You probably talk a bit of tactics and stuff like that. You're trying to jam him up, get back into the game.
yeah. But again, let's pump up. Come on, boys, we're going to go. And they stand out there in their pants for a little bit, It's not like footy where you can just run at a bloke and really...
You're out in the field for the next 3 hours.
You're wearing long pants, literally. It's, you're like, I can't really get too pumped up. I'm just going to stand here for a bit.
So you think the better approach is, if we take Ricky out of it, not a big name former player, like a guy that's a coach.
Yeah,
A guy
I
that's a
think...
coach, not a guy that's...
I think long-term, a cricket head, like John Buchanan was... all time, like his record would be something stupid. He won 80% of his games. He played in all forms of cricket.
Yeah.
It helps when you've got that 11, but that 11 gets built around each other. And it used to be we had our top 4 set, and the new good guy was going to be our 6, and that was Michael Clark. And then eventually he comes up, and then we make Steve Smith. He bats at 8, and now all of a sudden, and that because you can bring these young guys in with the culture that you've had. Obviously, the culture tipped over to, getting sandpaper on cricket balls.
True.
Now we're at this sort of weird spot where we've had to restart.
Yeah.
You probably needed a bit of a hard ass to tell people, hey, this is how I did it. This is how I did it. I did it very well. Get in line.
Yeah, well, you can't. You say that Langer comes from that Buchanan tree.
Yeah,
so there's
exactly right.
That's the guy that coached him in Australian Test. So that's probably what he's modelled around.
And Langer coached the Scorchers. He was very successful with the Scorchers.
Definitely.
And if you kind of look around all the BBL teams, there's Lehman, there's Gillespie. They're actually that's where they go to.
Well, I think the history before Lehman got the job for Australia, that Gillespie and Lehman were the favourites because Gillespie had done a really good job over in England with county
system.
cricket.
Yeah.
So that was a big shout for him to come back in. But I think he's kind of moved away. He's done more of the media sort of stuff and kind of moved away from that idea that I had my run and I've missed my run for tests for the Australian coaching job. So
if I asked you to name some other coaches of international teams now,
no idea. Like
Who's India's coach?
Yeah, he's India's coach.
and they were just here, so you don't need your coach being out there.
You don't need.
I think he initially took some bullets from. We're still in this weird little thing where we're no longer the golden boys of cricket. We're still. We're the last team to do something wrong, so we're the dicks.
Bad boys for life.
Bad boys for life. So we ain't going nowhere. Let that be known. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, no Test cricket for 9 months. It's the Ashes, which just if that doesn't fire you up, then nothing will. So
Whack.
Yeah.
can't wait to see it. But yeah, let's hope some Shield. Let's take Shield cricket seriously.
Yes.
And let's have some headaches at the
Yeah, well,
selection table.
you'd hope you'd build
Good
your
read.
next Australian Test coach through your Shield system. Like one of those
Well,
guys
exactly
would be
right,
a
yeah.
guy that.
Darren Berry's been he's been around for a while. So we'll see. We'll see what happens from that.
Yeah.
But that's the world in Test cricket pretty much.
So yes, so let's move into the Big Bash League because the final has just kicked off, and was that Philippi just hit one?
No,
hit a
it's
six.
Just launched Jason Berendorf for 6. Can you just scroll down there amongst a little bit? Let's do this final preview now.
Oh, yeah.
We weren't expecting this to start so rapidly. So Sixers and Scorchers going at it after 56 games of the Big Bash. They're the two best franchises.
Clearly, the two best franchises.
Obviously, the Scorchers have won 3 times. Sixers have won twice, and the defending champs.
Scorchers did it the hard way to get here, of course.
Yeah, and
wasn't it hard going through the Challenger, the Defender, the Gladiator, everything?
brains, that's for sure.
So of the 10, they've won 5.
Some beers.
Yeah. So of the 10 series, Big Bash series, they've won 5 of them.
Yes, between the two of them. So they've won half of them. They've played each other. This is the third time they've played each other in the Big Bash final.
They seem to be on. Every time we put the Big Bash on, it's Sixers versus Scorchers.
Well,
and some
they played each other.
Yeah.
They played each other
in one of the challenges / eliminators / whatever they're called.
Thanks, man.
So Big Bash 1 was Sixers and Scorchers. Sixers got the bickies in that. Here's some names that were playing in that. Can show you how long 10 years might feel. Simon Kadich, Paul Collingwood, Bradley Hogg,
Bradley.
Michael Beer.
Big Beer, shout out.
One of the greatest names ever.
Yes.
Shout out to Michael Beer if you're listening. The man who dropped the World Cup, Herschel Gibbs, was playing.
Oh, this is all time.
He was playing for the Perth Scorchers back in those days. The Sweet Prince, Stuart McGill.
Oh, God.
The man who should have had 600 test wickets if there wasn't a guy called
Good shame.
SK Warren.
Yeah.
Still had 200 test wickets, I believe. Brett Lee, as you mentioned. So, yeah, that's a blast from the past. Big Bash 1 that kind of shows this comp. It's serious now. Like
Yeah, 10 years is a
that's-
long time. Like,
yeah.
this is a part of
We didn't get to talk
the
about
summer
this, did
now. So,
No.
We'll come back to that when we talk about the actual game.
Yes, so Sixers win that one 10 years ago. A bloke called Moses Rex, who's in this game, made 70. And Stephen O'Keefe opened the batting, if you don't mind for
open the
that.
batting.
He opened the batting in that, and he made 48.
Sock. He made 48.
Made 48. It was a slow, it was a runner ball 48, but they what there. Sock opened the batting.
Yeah, I remember the early days of the Big Bash. It was early days of T20 cricket, and it wasn't this, tactical, pace now where
Yeah.
you.
Well, when the England side came across here, they didn't have any idea of how to play T20.
Yeah. No,
They were playing
like-
it like it was Test cricket. They was like, oh, we'll block this one. We'll
yeah,
block this one.
130. We can defend 130. That'll be easy.
It's literally been in 10 years. It's like ODI,
Yeah.
back in the 80s when you go, 230. Geez, that's a
Yeah.
And
Dentist. Shout out
this-
dentist.
Same thing that's happened in 10 years here because I think in that game they made 140 odd was the target set. Big Bash 4 at
they're in trouble.
Oh yeah, there's a
Speaking. Oh, they still got it.
doesn't
What
matter.
has happened there?
So who's
So who's run out there? Philippi?
Philippi's run down
Philippi
and
just
Vance
got cooked by Vince.
Yeah, Vince is just that's a big
I
loss.
wasn't
that
even
it-
able to get to my point before
fuck that
before the
run
game
up.
started. Anyways, we'll get
So
through
Philippi
there.
run out 1 for 28.
1 for 28, fourth over. Big Bash 4, Theatre of Dreams, Monaco Oval. The greatest game
Possibly ever.
possibly ever in cricket.
World sport.
The greatest, let's say, definitely the greatest Big Bash final ever. Sixers made 147. The Scorchers are absolutely cruising. Sean Marsh is out there. I think Michael Klinger's out there making some runs with him. They
Philippi is not happy.
They need 17 off the last 2 overs. They've got 8 wickets in the bank. Nathan Lyon comes in, bowls a 19th, takes 2 wickets. Then I think they needed 7 off the last over here from Brett Lee. Michael Carberry.
Michael Galbraith.
Michael Carberry, he's half man, he's half crew, he's half transport, he's Carberry, some shit like that Michael Ross taught me. Thank you very much. Miko, if you're listening. Brett Lee's got the last. They need 1 run off the last 3 balls. Bowled. 1 off the last for Perth to win, or it's going to a super over. Enter Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat. comes to the crease for the Scorchers. He squirts one straight to mid-wicket. Moses Enriquez is backing up at the bowler's end, fumbles it. Perth win.
Absolute
Perth
botch job.
win.
Perth win.
Perth win scenes. Monaco Oval.
Canberra wasn't ever the same. Canberra was never the same even.
No.
But yeah, no. So it's
Leads us into tonight's game. Third.
Let's run through how we got here because a lot of that ran through Monaco to get to this point.
Well, I was going to do my comparison, which we should do quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say interesting matchup between probably the best bowling attack in the Big Bash versus an excellent batting lineup from the Sixers. Josh Philippi, second highest run scorer, made 499. Striking at 150. James Vince out there just fried Philippi. Made 442 runs. That was the number 4 for runs made this Big Bash, striking at 140. And obviously against essentially the Australian T20 fast bowling unit of Jai Richardson, Andrew Tye, Jason Behrendorff.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a really interesting matchup. A little bit of bad blood between Ty and Vince from the last game.
Yeah. What do we all think
Do you
of
want to
that?
go? Do you want to go to that first? Because I think that was the first.
Second game.
Yeah.
So scroll up there, monks. Let's go real quickly. So the eliminator for fourth versus
My boys, the
five.
Heat, almost got there. I was backing them.
They won that game. That was it. That
They
was
won-
Yes, so
one
they
against
almost made the finals. That's my point. We're getting that. So
We'll get to the challenger in a few seconds.
yes,
not too much happened in that. Heat won that game by 6 wickets. The qualifier, which was these two teams going at it, very interesting because the Sixers absolutely pantsed them.
Yep.
Josh Inglis made a few runs. The Sixers bowlers shared the wickets. James Vince, he's 98 not out of 52 balls. The last ball, Ty bowls this wild bouncer and denies his.
well
100.
they only need one run to win.
Scores were tied. Yeah.
The scores are tight. I think they had plenty of balls left in the game.
It's 2 overs.
2 overs to go.
Cold.
But
So they're going to win.
they're going to win. They're going to win. They've got, but they need one run to win. Who was he batting with? I can't remember who he was batting with at the time.
Philippi would have been out.
Philippi was out. I think.
That's 3.
Is it Hughes?
It might have been Hughes.
I might have been Hughes, but he's blocked.
It was Hughes, the lefty, because he was leaving balls and,
Yeah,
and
left
they were
and blocked it.
cheering. Yeah, he was
they're getting stuck in so that Vince could get on strike. So Andrew Tye comes out to bowl the first ball of his over, which I think was over 19. Very short bouncer, very high. Doesn't give him even a chance to swing his bat at it. Of course, called a no ball. They win. They win the match on that.
Yeah.
Doesn't even give him a chance to hit like a 4 or a 6 to get his ton in it and ton up.
Yeah. God, and he was filthy too. He came down. He didn't want to shake his hand. I think it's bullshit from Vince. I think it's absolute. Suck it up, mate. It's like that. If that's not showing that he's out there for himself, not the team. You just won the game, and your first result is
you're going straight into a final.
Yeah, and your first thing is to be salty because
You didn't get a ton.
and whatever. Like, I'm not a professional sportsman. I don't know if he's got incentives on the line for hitting a ton this season. But seriously, like, I kind of like the shithousery from Ty. I like that they're in the final now. I hope Ty, gets his poles or something and gets in his face. I think probably would change my opinion if James Vince wasn't a Brit, but I just
And he didn't just fry our boy Josh Philippi here.
True. But I'd also say that the atmosphere in the crowd, you've lost this game. It was just like, all right, let's just send it out. Send everyone home on a good note. We'll set this match up for they had to do it the hard way. Like, hey, if we verse them in the final, hey, we've set up a good storyline there. Yeah. Versus, well, I guess it's a good story anyway. That everyone's just like, oh, there's a dog act. Yeah. You didn't give him a chance to hit his 100.
From the crowd.
The crowd was just like, oh fuck, we're going home. I was like, oh well.
Home on a wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. If you do look at the replay, Ty's just looks straight to the heavens as soon as he's bowled that ball. He's cocked it up.
Yeah,
so
I think he wanted to try bowl a bouncer, probably not
Yeah.
that high of a bouncer where it was a no ball.
Because
he knew he was going to get it as well.
So, and that's it. Like, and Ty obviously went, sorry, and Vince was just being a dick. Shut up, idiot. That's what I'd get. I'd say, all right, face up for another one. It's coming for you, man.
Yeah.
Hit this. Well, again, you've just hit you've hit 98.
98. Won the game easily.
Sorry,
50
mate.
something.
Can't
So
complain
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, but so
next game.
After that, yep.
Was the knockout. So 3 versus 4.
So Heat keep rolling.
Heat keep rolling. They defeat the Thunder by 7 wickets. Shared the runs. No big score again from Chris Lynn. Swepson, 2 for 28. Steckety, 2 for 22. They've been really good. And they showed that their middle order is reasonable. Sam Heaslett had 74 of 49. Jimmy Pearson, who saved him, I believe, in that first game, had 43. Lynn and Marnus don't fire. They still win. That's encouraging. They then go into the...
I think Marnus did a bit more with the ball. So him and Swepson formed a little bit of an interesting duo there with the spin. So
yeah, 2 leg spinners. Obviously, that's Swepson's craft and Marnus's part-time gig, but seems to be the short format that Marnus goes
it works well in T20.
Yeah, definitely. I'd hate to be trying to smack leg spin You definitely want it spinning into the right hander or use the pace of the ball.
Yeah, and he bowls like quicker ones as well. So
Yeah.
it's that risky one that skids onto the stumps or
Yeah.
skids onto your pads, and
Yeah.
he's actually. Again, we talk about cricket nerds. Like, you can just tell he loves it. And Swepson's obviously a different bowler, more in
Yeah,
that he's
bit
worked
more
a bit with
flight.
Warney,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
traditional leggy. Whereas if you actually see in the short form of the game, especially T20s, the IPL leg spinners are at a premium. If you've got a
Big
good
toss.
leg spinner,
Rashid Khan.
yeah.
Zampa on the Australian.
You can
front.
actually do more. Off spinners can't do as much with their wrist. Here we
Yeah.
go,
Well,
talking about bowl spin here.
You're
but
talking
your
wrist
leg
versus
spinners,
finger, so-
yeah, you can actually do a lot of different things, and we know what variation does in short form of the game. You know, brings it back towards a bowler as Fawad Ahmed comes on the bowl.
in,
So.
and he had an excellent game in this match in the Challenger.
Jeez, that's good.
This was at again at the Theatre of Dreams, Monica Oval. Monkey was there. How was the atmosphere?
I almost got hit in
It was
the
pretty good.
heel as
I
well.
almost got hit in the
Yeah,
heel.
I saw it on telly.
Yeah, it was funny because I was watching the cricket, but the rain was rolling in over the back, and there was massive lightning storm. So I was actually videoing the lightning storm as I was watching the cricket, and he hit that six, coming up straight to the hill, and I caught the ball like all the way through to hitting the hill. It was pretty cool.
We'll put that up on the YouTube
Yeah,
channel
we'll
and make
do
sure
that.
everyone.
Yeah.
On the maybe on the Instagram.
Yeah, whack that on the Instagram for everyone.
We've got an Instagram now on the Esky. We're working on a few hashtags needed, Sean, I believe, new to Instagram.
Hashtag dickheads.
I mean, Scorcher's got off to a real good start, and just rolled on
Marsh
from
had
there.
a good game, so
Yeah,
he's smacked them all over the place.
that's it.
And so did Livingston. So yeah.
The Scorchers
Livingston had a
lineup.
huge.
They got a good lineup.
That lineup, like 1 to 11, is very good. Like,
Their bowling attack.
yeah.
And they can hit a ball as well. Jason Roy didn't play in this game. His pommy friend, Sam Livingston.
Liam
Liam Livingston, double L. He goes mental. Like he had like a striking at 270 odd.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
77 off 39 balls.
I messaged Pepsi. I messaged the group chat and I said because they started slow. It was Bancroft and Livingston, and they were just like walking down and mistiming. And I said, these two openers are hacks. And then I think for the next 4 overs, they went for 60 or so. They were just hitting balls for fun. I went, maybe not a hack.
There was
Maybe this international cricketer is half decent.
Yeah. There was some stipulation, I guess, as to Cameron Bancroft getting the gig opening in place of Roy over Josh Inglis. Bancroft strikes at about 120, Inglis at about 145. It didn't matter in the end. They made 189 off their rain-affected 18 overs. He'd go out there and I think they were 9 for 150. And those Scorchers bowlers, as we've alluded to, were all great. Jason Behrendorff, 2 for 19. Andrew Ty, 2 for 25. Fawad Ahmed, 2 for 26. What are we now? We're in the 6th over. The Sixers are 1 for 48 here in the final. Handy start.
Yeah.
Pretty good start. They've got some good talent. Dan Hughes just looks awkward.
It's not
I cannot
bad.
believe his first drop. He always looks like an awkward.
He doesn't.
His helmet doesn't fit him or something. Look at it. He's got too much room at the top of the helmet.
Mustache and yeah.
He's your first drop. So
Just go.
But I love that they're hitting in the middle order there. Enriquez, Seal, Christian. If they need a quick fire 10 and over off the last 5,
Yeah.
that's 3 guys.
And the way what do we say? Top 4 run scorers, Vince and Philippi were 2 of them.
Yep,
So
yep,
that sets
Number
you up.
2 and number 4.
We talk about license. You come in the 15th. You try and score as many quick runs as you can.
It doesn't help though when Vince fucks Philippi. So
Absolutely barbecued.
This isn't great.
Snags are on.
This isn't great radio, but that was one of the all-time cooks too, because they botched that run out too. They could have rolled over and.
Indeed.
I just want to go back to the Heaps Scorchers game. So as James alluded to, it was rain affected. So the Scorchers hit 189 from 18 overs and 1 ball, but the Heat as reply had to hit 200 off 18.
That was Duckworth Lewis because they missed it. Because the way they were going, the wickets they'd lost. If anyone here can work out Duckworth Lewis, then
To
me,
it didn't make any
All
sense.
statistics.
Yeah.
So it's working off like how many overs they had, how many runs they made, the
Wickets
history
down.
of
Wickets
the
down. I think
team,
the wickets
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
the history of the teams as
Yeah.
well.
The history-
their run.
it's equated into it. Yeah,
For me, I was just looking at it and just going, well, these guys had 18 overs and got 189. Why don't they just have 18 overs as well?
yeah.
Considering that was
Because
it's 189.
Yeah.
if they knew they had 18 overs, they would have gone quicker. they didn't know at the start they were going to miss 2. It's good on them because they've made
There's
it.
a lot of overthinking.
Oh yeah, it's like the WinViz. Like whoever. Australia 67, India 30, draw 3. No, you can't put a number on what the game is. You can it's those numbers that come out from the ether. Whoever Duckworth and Lewis are, they've done well because I have absolutely no idea how that.
I have no idea.
Not only Duckworth and Lewis, there's a Stern as well. Imagine being the Stern. You never
missed out.
never
hear about Stern.
Never hear about Stern.
DLS.
Duckworth, Lewis, Stern.
Is it really? Oh, thanks, Jim. Poor Mr. Stern. He will be filthy.
DLSS. Poor Stern.
Yeah. So we'll follow this game as it goes throughout the rest of our podcast, but at this stage it's 1 for 52 after 6 overs and 2 balls. Vince on 36.
What have we got? We've been just chatting for
Cricket, a lot of cricket.
numbers and stuff.
We
Yeah.
might run through just a bunch of stories in some of the other sports that are either coming up or happening. So let's start with tennis. Do you want to scroll down to the tennis stuff?
Yep.
So Australian Open is meant to start
Monday.
So Monday the 8th.
Saturday night here.
Yes. So bit of concern though of Rona and Victoria, of course, in Melbourne. One of the security guards at
One guy?
Yeah, one guy. Well,
It only takes one.
It only takes one. He was a security guard at the hotel where they were doing quarantine for Australian Open
Security guard, eh?
guys. So
Security guards have never had so much airtime in the last 12 months. Haven't they fucked everyone?
especially
Fuck everyone.
God. All those bouncers that never let me into nightclubs. That's
Yeah.
they're getting theirs.
So there's
that.
concerns, talks like
Kicking me out for being intoxicated.
Yeah. The Australian
Allegedly.
Some concern the Australian Open may not happen was some of the chat that happened in the last couple of days, but I think it's looking like it's go ahead. But
And then to go with Pepsi's money brings everything. The amount of money and effort they have put to put this on would be wild. You have forced these multi-millionaires for the last 2 weeks and they've whinged about their hotel quarantine, the training, the facilities.
I can't go to the hairdresser.
They will put this on, and it is 25 to 30,000 they're allowing each day. I think 30 is the cap per day, which
What's
is
it normally like a?
it's mental.
Over
it's mental
Yeah.
because it depends how many courts they've got. So like,
Yeah.
say if we've got someone on market court that's like a really good big name like Serena Williams, they might pack it out. So say they've got 20 to 30 in that arena alone.
Yeah.
I think it's 20. I think it's the max.
I think
Max
Rod
is
Laver
20?
Rod Laver
Laver's
is about
about 20.
25.
Oh, 20.
Margaret Court would be a bit less, and then there's Hisense is
And there's like 3
a bit
others.
less. Oh no, there's like 20. The outside court, it's brilliant. You got to go to the Australian Open because you
there's
can walk
so
around. Like there's hundreds of thousands that go through the day, and
You could have
there's festivals on that. Well, normally there's beer, there's certain areas like people go there and don't see a single game of tennis. Like it's a lovely day out in the summer.
it's a festival of tennis.
It is a festival, yeah. So the fact they're putting it on is brilliant. Well, God, please, 2 days out. 30,000 fans. Again, when I see fans in the crowd, I just get happy because
Fair few there.
it's good. Nature is healing when people can watch live sport, watch a ball get hit around. So no Rog, no Federer in the men's side, which is. Sad. I think he's the GOAT, but Djokovic.
Definitely.
Is it a corona-related travel?
I think it's a whole thing. I mean, like we've heard the complaints about 2 weeks of quarantine. It's in New Year's. You're traveling down. I do love that. I always feel it's one of the 4 biggest tournaments in the world, but I feel it's always sort of pushed away because tennis is such a big European. You prioritize Wimbledon. US gets prioritized because it's America, and then the French Open's right there. So I think it's always sort of the 4th one, but it's it's still this great event, and I love it. I get so into my tennis for January, and then half of February, and then I forget about it for 9 months. And exactly, it starts off the year, which is brilliant. And us being Australians will jump over anything. So. Joker's here. He's going for his 9th, which would be a record. So
I think he's going for the 20th as well. He's
Overall,
trying to get
90.
20 Grand Slams overall.
Grand
well, Rafa's going for Rafa's going for 21, which would be the record. I think Rafa and Rog are on 20. Joker must be 19.
Yes.
17.
He's 17. I think he's a little bit away. So if Rafa wins, he goes top by himself, and Federer's not here to defend it.
They're all competing in that 20 range, though.
It's brilliant. I think we're sort of coming to the end of this golden age of tennis with Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal.
The big 3,
and Djokovic. You can poor Andy Murray. He was sort of the 4th. 3.5 really. But I mean, this is the type of dominance in individual sport we don't really see. Like we talk of Tiger Woods in golf, like that's all time. The fact that these three guys have existed at the same time, if they're 10 years apart, well, the argument is, who's better? We actually watch them play each other every couple of weeks. It's really
you take Andy Murray, any other decade or era, he's number one, constantly.
Yeah, exactly right. So
he's just like, fuck these blokes.
It's Stuart McGill of tennis, if you will.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, shout out to Warney. So some of the other seeds that have made their way down under. So Novak and Rafa, 1 and 2. Dominic Thiem, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, and Zverev round out the top 6. They are you talk about the big 3, they're the next 4 coming through. Being the tennis fan here, all sort of early 20s, they would be hating the fact that these blokes are still hanging around. They want to win some Grand Slams, but you're just not going to beat them. They're just waiting for these guys to retire. I'm really excited to see how those guys, I think that's pretty much your quarterfinals, the way it's sort of tracking. I mean, the beauty of Grand Slam tennis is there's upsets galore, but
definitely.
Especially in the men's draw, that it seems to be reasonably consistent.
It plays to the seeds.
Definitely.
You obviously there'll be that upset, which is brilliant. Hopefully, it's an Aussie that you see go down. But that. Remember those names: Tsitsipas, Zverev, Thiem, Medvedev.
All Eastern Europeans.
Greek,
Thiem's
Austrian,
from Denmark,
Russia,
I think. Medvedev's Russian. He's Austrian. Medvedev's Russian, Zverev's German, Tsitsipas Greek. So, and he's been
Zverev is Russian-born, plays for German.
So he's a gun. Tsitsipas is come down to Melbourne. He loves it because of all the Greek community they get around him. He's
like Baghdadis did.
Absolutely,
they get around him.
Top Aussies, Diminor is 21 in the world. He's got the 21 seed, so he's always a good. He's your typical Leighton Hewitt fighter Aussie that you just love to. I don't know, individual sport, you want gritty, you think tennis, you just stay up till 4 in the morning watching tennis, getting to see him grow out. John Millman just missed out on a seed. Jordan Thompson, Duckworth, no relation to the Duckworth Lewis, I believe. And Nick Kyrgios rounds out the main sort of Aussie contingent, I think.
So what's the go with
Tomic? I think's got a wild card.
Tomic and Kokonakis got a wild card, so it's good to see him back from injury.
What's the go with Nick Kyrgios? He hasn't been playing enough tennis to be seated because normally he's in there.
Yes, pretty much. I think he's about 45 in the world. He
didn't play any of the tournaments last year, of course.
Yeah.
So he was very advocate of I'm not going to travel around. I'm not going to try spread COVID. So they had that big thing for that. So
he had an outcry when Djokovic had that private tournament and everyone got COVID. I mean, Kyrgios is just a figure. We love Aussie media. We love our figures. He's one that will transcend.
Polarizing.
Yeah, and I mean his lead up hasn't been ideal.
No, I think I'm not sure if he actually left the match. He threatened to leave one match after getting a time violation. Sick of the ref getting stuck into him.
Did you see what happened? No, it was actually bullshit. And if it happens to your average tennis player, they're already tightly wound. They have the argument. They move on. He bounced the ball and he threw up his serve. They've got like a shot clock now in tennis to try and everything wants to be sped up. He throws it up as it goes to 0 and as he's hitting a time violation. And he goes, you've got to be kidding. You wouldn't do this to anyone else. It's because it's me. And I'm not sure if he ended up walking off. He was up 6-2, 5-4 in the match. Like he was dominating the match.
He definitely threatened to.
So he's not one to, tennis players have the tendency to, I'm down big here. I'm just going to, whereas Kyrgios was dominating this game and he went, no, I'm not going to finish that if you're going to do that. So he's very much maligned in that way. He's one of those ones, if he could get a good seed, I actually could see him winning a Grand Slam. He's got the talent in the world.
Definitely. He's got the talent.
But he'll never play enough tennis to be in the top 10.
Does he have the passion?
Exactly.
We talked about it, like it's a job for him.
Absolutely, So I'm going to get my check and a big check at that.
Exactly. If he gets out of the first round, he's getting a big check. So he's happy for that. I think he had another warm-up match yesterday where he was smashing rackets. I don't think he's in a great kind of form at the moment. So, but hey, maybe that's a good warm-up for him. He's getting it all out. And
I've hit a couple of tennis sport. I wish I was that naturally gifted where I could act like that. But
Bernard Tomic on the other end, pulls out of a warm-up match because he's got a knee injury, and then before the match is scheduled to start, he's posting on Instagram. He's not doing overly much with the basketball. He's bouncing it between his legs and shooting it. But, you're on a basketball court, shooting a basketball that it's not a great look if you just pulled out of a basketball game with a knee injury. So, he's doing this kind of thing. This is like minutes before this match is meant to start.
He's literally bouncing it off his knee.
He's a
dickhead.
Yeah. He's probably too busy porking his missus to care, and he's just happy to get a run in the Australian Open. So.
Well, she won't be at the hairdresser anytime soon.
No, she will not.
She'll be flat about that.
I know.
But I mean, like, again, I think when Kyrgios and Tomic get lumped in together, like Tomic is just an out and out absolute cockhead. Like you talk about collecting paychecks. This man is not shy in saying that I just the bare minimum to do this for a job.
Well, my knee wasn't that sore. I was just playing basketball.
Anyway, that's enough tennis. I think we'll cover the Australian Open more once it gets into the Australian Open. But let's move on. Olympics. So we're following a bit of the news of the Olympics last week about the no go. It's going. It's happening. Whatever. Interesting. I think they did a bit of a survey in Japan. A lot of the Japanese people, close to 80+%, were saying no, we don't want the Olympics to go ahead.
It's a crazy amount.
Yeah, it is. Either delay it or cancel it. The Olympic Commission is actually there. So I think the Japanese Commission is pushing ahead. They're happy to do it, though there's an understanding that the $33 billion they've spent on actually setting up the Olympics, building stadiums and stuff, they're never going to get a return on investment because they just can't get people there or crowds there. Interesting, Japan has extended their state of emergency into March. So they're already cancelling a lot of the pre-test events for the Olympics. So they get, they do.
They're in a state of emergency. Like that.
Was it swimming? I think they were doing a swimming meet or something in Japan leading up to it to just to test out how the facilities are going, how it's going to run. Doing a dry run before you get to the Olympics. But they're cancelling all that because they're trying to deal with COVID, of course. So it'd be interesting what goes ahead with the Olympics. Hopefully, it goes ahead.
Or delay it, or there's too much money in here. Like that crushes economies.
Yeah,
that's
exactly right.
There are jobs,
billion.
there are family, and it's the Olympics. Like it's
yeah. Well, I think they're already thinking, well, let's put in a bid for the 2035 Olympics. I think it's that year. It's in the 30s.
It shouldn't be unless it's been restarted. It shouldn't be an odd year.
No, because they just moved it. They're still calling it the 2020 Olympics.
Yes.
Here's the thought,
2036.
could they just push it back another year?
Yeah, but then
vaccines
do it. Super Olympics, two in a year or something. Let's do it.
Well, the Winter Olympics were two apart in 92 and 94 because the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics used to be in the same year.
Yeah.
And then they
had to switch it.
They said, let's switch this. Let's have an Olympics every 2 years.
Yeah.
And so there was, I think it was Lillehammer and Albertville, the Winter Olympics of 92 and 94 were only 2 years apart. They could do that here. They could say,
we're in unprecedented times.
Tokyo 2022 and then off to Paris, isn't it? 2024.
Yeah.
But the problem isn't the next Winter Olympics next year?
Yes.
So you'd have both the Olympics and the Winter Olympics happening.
That would be 6 months
at the same
apart.
time.
That'd be roughly 6 months apart. Because
depending on when you actually get the chance to do either of those Olympics.
That is true, but obviously the Summer Olympics tend to be in summer in the Northern Hemisphere. So you'd be looking at a June, July-ish start in Tokyo, and the Winter Olympics tend to be in late January.
Where is the Winter
early
Olympics?
Feb.
Paris?
Winter is in Beijing.
Yep.
And there's
slated for 4th of Feb.
There you go.
2022.
Peppy all over it.
Yeah.
Don't mind me winter sports. There's also, again, we want to be a sports podcast, not a political podcast. There's a whole heap of people saying we're not going to China because of treatment of certain ethnic groups in that country. That's another kettle of fish to be crossed. Essentially, they'd be 6 months apart. Or
hopefully
5 months apart.
Hopefully they'll be fine.
Yeah. I think that's maybe a way to do it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that Vince has just hit his 50, so the 2 for 82 after 9, which is I think they've
unreal. They're hitting at 9
That's good.
8 in the shed.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, the bash boost doesn't matter anymore now.
No bash boost.
Thank you.
So the final Olympics news was, for Australian news, about the Australian the basketball team. Ben Simmons playing tennis would probably be interesting, but the Boomers squad's been announced, the 24
Well,
men.
Kyrgios rates himself as a basketballer.
True.
Maybe they
I
could.
reckon he could get his job off the bench, Nick Kyrgios.
True
for the Boomers.
For the Boomers. So the Boomers have announced a 24-man squad. Ben Simmons, of course, in that squad. Simmons has come out very much and said, hey, I'm keen. I want to do the Olympics. I want to at least do one for possibly Australia's first medal chance in that, to compete with the big, I think it's of course, USA, I think Spain.
European, Spain, France, Germany,
all the big European.
Where's
The Lithuanians punch above their weight.
They do. They know.
The Argentinians go okay.
Yeah, we're sort of Paddy Mills is getting to the end. Baines,
You talk
Bogut's
about
now
windows.
done.
You talk
No.
about windows. This is a window that's shrinking.
Yeah.
No more Bogut, of course.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's. I'd love to see Ben Simmons pull it on. I think like 2 years ago we had this ultimate starting five. Joe Ingles is getting old now.
Yeah.
And we're going against the best in the world. So Ben Simmons always makes us relevant. I feel,
Definitely.
but
There's the Exum, the cousins. There's the two of them now.
Yeah. Are they related? Dante Exum, Ben Simmons?
Now there is two.
I don't think
there's
that's
a Star
Green,
Wars
Josh Green. I think it's Josh Green coming
Yeah,
through.
yeah,
There's
he's
a few.
drafted.
Just Green just got
I
drafted.
mean,
So yeah, they've got some
The
talent.
bigger
like
Simmons get, like basketball, I talk about, is such an individual sport. The bigger he gets, the game grows. I want to, wear a Ben Simmons jersey. I want to love basketball.
Yep.
And we go from there. So
Yeah, definitely.
hopefully going forward, that happens. And again, hopefully the Olympics go ahead.
Because they're definitely in chance for the medal. Like they're probably aiming for that bronze medal, and then hopefully
I think they
compete
made
for
the bronze medal match last Olympics.
we went. Well, I think we lost to the States
Spain.
to get into the medal.
Yeah, we lost,
gold medal.
Yes.
Yeah, and played above our weight in that
Yeah.
game. And then I think we lost to Spain in
In the
that.
third.
Yeah,
in
and it
the-
was very close. Remember, we were at Pogo's
We're
wedding for that.
we're at the
So-
barrel.
Oh, there was like a
We're at
dodgy
the
ref
Barrel
call
Hotel.
late as
it
well.
was super close.
It was really close.
Yeah, the Gasol
Shout out to
brothers.
the Barrel Hotel. We'll be seeing you in 2 weeks' time.
Ooh.
Yes.
Get your socks on, Pips.
Yeah.
Cold feet.
So
Exum and Simmons are friends. They're friends. From
They're
Melbourne.
friends. No
Yeah,
relation.
no relations.
That's nice. That's
And
nice
I
that they're
think
friends.
what we're talking about was the Basketball World Cup as well.
no, I meant there was two Exums. I think there's Dante and there's
talking
is it
about
Ex-
two different
No,
things.
no, it's not Exum. It's the
I was watching
the other
the Big
ones.
Bash. What are you
What are
talking
they names? Oh my god, one of them plays for the Bucks. Is not Exum. What's the other one?
Giannis. This is good radio.
They're the Nigerian guys.
Matt Thom.
the
Thon
Maker.
Maker.
Thon Maker.
And then his cousin. I think it's his cousin. So
Maker's now on the Pistons, I think.
yeah.
Yes.
So there's the two Makins as well that could play for Australia too. Give us some good size.
Fuck, I'm just doing that run out again. This is Vince has cooked him. I'm off James Vince. Oh, song and dance
He's
about
at
100.
50, but we're off him.
He's cooked Josh Philippi. Go Scorchers.
Yeah. So that'll wrap up our Olympics news. F1 news is not much, but there's an interesting story.
That's
Hamilton.
normally when I go for a piss anyway.
Yeah, so he disappeared for a piss. So Hamilton's been given a month to sign his contract with Mercedes because they very much want to. I think Hamilton's the only starting driver that hasn't signed
Sounds about right.
for anyone. So Mercedes, of course, want him under contract.
But he's just holding them by the balls, I think, though.
Yeah, well, the offer is 140 mil for 2 years. That's
Fuck
AUD, so that's 40 million pounds a year, which is excellent money. So whether they
I think that eventually gets done. I mean, this
Well,
is one of those partnerships that
It has to.
one has the other.
Yeah, if because Toto Wolff's contract, he's just recently go through his negotiations and he's assigned, so he's coming back. So of course now he's got to work it out with good friend Hamilton. If Hamilton comes back, the only talk is maybe he retires. If he's going to come back, it has to be a Mercedes for another.
Yeah,
run around.
no,
So,
he's not up for a jump ship to a different team or anything.
Not at
It's
this stage of his
It's
career.
just
like we
whether
said, they're the partnership now that you go,
Yeah,
and they have the sport as well. Like if Hamilton's not driving for Mercedes, that sport gets nervous.
Yeah.
Who are
You
our
know,
names? Who are our faces?
yeah, so Russell probably comes into that spot, but
Russell
like you
slots
say,
in
he's
very well.
but he's not Hamilton. He's not the face of F1 at the moment. And I guess there's a question of does Hamilton want to keep doing this with considering all the other, social justice and political movements he wants to actually kind of follow, and F1's kind of not
I'm just
against
gonna
it, but it's
locate-
different.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Is he still with the Pussycat doll?
Long term, they were on and off for a little while, and I think they've been separated for
Shattered.
at
Bit too
least
much
for a
gossip
year or
in this episode, but shout out to Nicole.
too much
Scherzer.
relationship talking for us.
Lewis Hamilton also has his own electric E, so extreme electric motorsports.
Exactly.
forward driving
Again,
sort of
moving
team.
there from the
So-
whole petrol, gas
there you go.
guzzling cars. So interesting to see. So there's a countdown. So he's got to the end of February to sign this deal.
To sign $70 million a year.
Yes. So we will wait and see what happens.
That's it. Outside of that, I think a lot of teams are releasing or doing their media days for the new cars for the year.
Exactly. So I
that's
think
happened throughout the month.
So that's why they want him. Well, they've given him this month deadline because they want to then show the car for next year, and of course they want to have a driver signed on for who's actually going to drive that for the.
It's going to be standing next to that car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
UFC. Let's move into the UFC and quickly cover this. So Overeem versus Volkov is the highlight for the card that's on tomorrow.
That's big.
Yeah, it is big because Volkov.
I was talking about James Vince. Sorry,
sorry. James Vince is smashing him all over the place. It's a great segue because Overeem versus Volkov being heavyweight fight. Volkov being just coming off a loss against Rosenstrike, who then lost to Ngannou in that top kind of 4 to 5 range. These guys are both up there. The rest of the card, not a huge amount of big names.
Undercut or the co-mains, Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, Frankie Edgar's fighting
Corey Sandhagen.
Sandhagen, I think, is like 2 in that division or something at the moment. Like, he's very high. Huge shout for Frankie Edgar. But he's definitely getting on, but he's an absolute warrior. And if he beats Sandhagen, he'll probably be in line for the bantamweight title fight. Because I think Sandhagen's the next one on the list. As a favourite to do that. So that'll be an interesting fight. Lightweight division news after, of course, the big card the weekend before, 2 weeks ago, with Poirier getting past McGregor. So Charles Oliveira actually is fresh off beating Tony Ferguson, so he's high up there. I think he's won 8 straight. He was offered a non-title fight against Michael Chandler, who also beat Dan Hooker on that same card, coming up for this UFC 258 card. And it looks like UFC, of course, trying to fast-track Chandler in this bit. Dustin's kind of already acting a little bit like Champ with this, trying to pick and choose his fights. He was saying Oliveira, he's earned it. He's got, that win streak. Doesn't really want to fight Michael at the moment because he's fresh in the division. Maybe needs to beat one or more blokes at this point. But, they've tried to put this non-title fight together to try and save this UFC 258, which is headlined by Usman and Burns, because Chris Weidman and Uriah Hall fight has been pulled off because Weidman got Rona. That's I think's now been rescheduled to UFC 260.
When's 258 meant to be?
When I wrote this next weekend. So they had 3 fights officially listed on this card like a couple of days ago. They've put this card together quickly. Not sure. It's not a great card, honestly. They've definitely put some more, like I think Jim Miller's on it. So they've got some recognisable names on the card now, but the sells Usman versus Burns. So, that's why they're pushing to try and get this lightweight division to keep going, which would have been, for Chandler, that's a 3-week turnaround. Avera, I don't think's fought in a couple of months, but, they probably want to put together a good camp to fight someone like Chandler, who they're now... We're talking about title contenders because whoever wins that probably fights Dustin or Gagey. They're the 4. So Gagey, Poirier, Chandler, and Oliveira are your, say, top 4 that could fight for the belt. Looks like Khabib's probably not coming back, so will relinquish that. So
not after Connor's been knocked out. I mean, that's the only real appeal.
Yeah, so Dustin. So more talk on Dustin. Like they're talking, maybe they do the trilogy against McGregor. Money fight for Dustin, keep that rolling, possibly, since there's nothing else going on. Maybe there's a Nate Diaz fight, and then Nate came out during the week saying he's staying at welterweight. That's where he's at. So, yeah, I think that's probably about it for the lightweight division. It's the best division in UFC, I think, at the moment.
Most competitive.
But there's no clear champion, which is probably causing a whole bunch of these issues. Yeah. So they probably need to make a decision soon on what they're going to do and then go forward with it. The final bit of fighting news was the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship had their Knuckle Mania today, and I don't think PVG Paige Van Zam had.
She lost unanimous decision against Britain Hart.
Poor Paige. Yeah. I've said it before. Her face is too pretty to be doing this shit.
Supposedly she's making more money in BFKC than she was with UFC with her fighting. I think she had like 40 to fight, 40 to show. Okay, that is.
So it's that big. They've got that much money tied into it with this.
Well, yeah, it seems because I think Chris Lehman was on this fight card as well, and he's like 40 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like they've got some good money in it, and they've got some guys coming across to join the competition. It's definitely it's way more gruesome than the UFC.
Oh my god!
Because the bare knuckles they cut up a lot more. There's also a lot more knockouts in this as well. Just the no gloves kind of punching it, but yeah,
500 punches between the two of them. Oh, don't do that to yourselves.
What fight was this?
That's Taylor Starling and Chris Sigala we're looking at here. Jeez, this is
500.
I mean, they'd flog the shit out of me. They would beat me to a bloody pulp.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So that's
Probably weigh 40 kilos and just absolutely have their way with me.
Yeah. So
Not in the good way.
Paige Van Zam doesn't get a win, of course, in her first joining.
Jim's girl.
Yeah, Jimmy's girl joining into the bare knuckle world. Do you guys want to talk a bit about EPL?
Yeah, I'll go rapid fire with the EPL just
I'm
to
gonna
go
go to the bathroom
through.
real quick.
Yeah, please do. Highlight of the weekend was obviously Man United putting 9. Putting 9 into the Southampton goal.
I believe that was a Premier League era tied record.
9. Oh, I think City won 10, or Chelsea would have got a 10-0. Look that up for me while I rattle out these scores.
Premier League era highest score.
It was very good viewing as the United supporter. There was a red card for Southampton in the first 90 seconds. It was always going to be a cruise from there.
Thoughts? Red?
Yeah, clear red.
Chopped.
Just a little shout out to myself for having a multi. United to score 3 goals, check. Southampton not to score, check. Marcus Rashford to score, check. United to win both halves, check. United to have more than 3 corners. They had 2 more corners, so there's $300 down the drain. Well, just $300.
Two corners total in the game.
No, it was 5-3. I said they'd have more than 2. We don't want to hear my batting.
So you lost by half.
Always do it responsibly, people. I lost by literally half a corner. Half a corner, not even anything exciting. Few upsets this weekend. It's always, like we said last weekend, the Premier League is always...
every week,
So you can never save. So Brighton knock off Liverpool. Another cellar dweller, Wolverhampton knock off Arsenal, who are just reeling at the moment.
Aren't they?
Chelsea and Tottenham was Builders' game of the week, and it was one of the most boring games of soccer. I copped all 90 minutes of it as well. It was a stinker.
Snooze fest.
Penalty to Chelsea was the only goal there. Mourinho, the fire has been lit under him. Tottenham are down to about 8th now, I think. They're about 7 or 8 points out of the top 4. And the way Mourinho plays, there's no exciting football happening there. So as a man who had Mourinho as a coach for a while, if your team's shit and playing boring, soccer's not the sport for you. City they're 3 games up with a game in hand.
3 points.
3 points up, the top of the ladder. It's going to be very hard to catch them. I don't think they've lost for 6 weeks now. They're going to be very hard to catch them. It's one of those, the Premier League's...
So interesting considering both them and United were outside the 10 for...
it's crazy.
It
took a bit to warm up, and now it's just...
very slowly.
This engine to cook. The City... People sort of have written City off the last couple of years. Their last 2 years, I think they've had 95 and 96 points at the end of the year. That wins you the comp 9 times out of 10. But I mean, 2 years ago, Liverpool lost 1 game and didn't win. Like this competition, it's beautiful how you've got your relegation battle. There's mid-table, jostling, and then you've got the top 4, and then top 6, and then you've got your top 1 or 2. There's always most beautifully constructed isn't a word. Constructed competition in that every game matters, and that's why we love Americans. Well, football, every game literally matters.
Oh, definitely.
The Premier League, you've got 38 shots to do your best, and even if you do your absolute best, you may not even be where you need to be.
You lose one game.
And it's going to be another interesting season for 19 of the spots. I think City, they just look too good. They've got a game in hand. I'd love a loss to West Ham or
Sheffield
something.
will probably last. So
exactly.
you got one and last.
And Sheffield knocked off United last week.
Yeah,
so they were clearly pissed off. They put 9 up against Southampton. So that was the week in the Premier League. Actually, Jesse Lingard made his debut for West Ham. He's on loan for United, and he put 2 goals in against Aston Villa. So shout out Jesse Lingard.
Hasn't done that for a while for United.
He hasn't gone on the pitch. I mean, he's a quick winger, which we've got about 15 of them.
That's
so.
right.
It's cool. It's good to see them all on like social media. They're all friends, and they all got around him when that went. So it's good to see it's good to see good people do well. So Jesse's a good guy. He's done a lot of work in the community in Manchester. So, and Enrique's out.
Enrique's out. 2 for...
Three for now.
Make it 3 for 114, 13th over here of the Big Bash final.
Ty gets his man. There you go. That was the week in the EPL.
Yeah. So on that, so that's Manchester Southampton tied for the third biggest winning margin. Other two.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Chelsea beat Wigan 10-0 once.
No.
Damn it, 8-0.
That was 8-0.
Yeah, I knew it. As I said 10, it was 8 in my head. Yeah.
So the other two, both United and Southampton. So Southampton lost to Leicester City 9-0. And then...
Leicester bet put 9 on...
Yeah, that was 2019.
Last year?
Not even the year.
Not
they
even
won it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years ago. That's 21.
Yep. And
These
then
two.
back in 1995, Man U destroyed Ipswich Town 9-0.
So you were right, Peps.
so,
Yeah, equal there.
Equal.
It's a bit 9-0 in a professional game. Like we talk about how close the Premier League is. You're going to be shattered. 9-0 just looks great. It doesn't even look nice on the scoreboard.
No, shout out to Tuggeranong United under 14s. I think at the West we once lost, I think from memory, 21-0.
Oh.
I must
But
have
the wind was
erased that
blowing.
from my memory.
The wind was
I
blowing
don't
strong
It
one
was a
end.
20
That's
goal
what,
wind.
yeah.
We were really...
I was probably too busy enjoying the oranges. Let's go.
Never got off.
Do you want to talk about this Messi news?
Oh, mate.
God, we're just talking about Lewis Hamilton earning dumb money now.
Cash.
Messi
Cash
was
money.
Shit over
So
there.
I think the story. So Messi's contract has been leaked to the media. The contract actually finishes up in June, where he's
Existing contract.
the existing contract 5 years. I think it was. Or was it 7? Some crazy.
It was long.
It was a long
Yeah,
contract.
it was a bit of an
So, but
overlapped.
yeah.
Messi's he's always sort of overlapped his deal by a
Yeah.
couple months. So
Yeah.
it's
So Barcelona, of course, very pissed off that this had leaked to the media and were going to sue the newspaper that put it out. But the numbers were, the deal over that time frame, whatever it was 555 million euros, which is
A lot of fives and a lot of
883
zeros.
Dr. Evil
AUD. So, yeah.
that's nearly $1 billion.
AUDs.
That
yeah.
is mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's $500 million euros. So
That's
that's crazy money.
As I was
So,
saying to you guys, the breakdown is 5 AUDs a minute, a second. So, and that's every second of that 4-year deal.
yeah.
So $5.
Not just game
$5.
time. It's $5 24/7.
$5.
Come on, Pepsi, round up. Would you? A bit of jest down
$5.
that.
$5.
So,
$6 there.
yeah.
We're currently not getting paid any dollars a minute. So if anyone wants to sling some money this way, Lionel, if you're a listener, I know you're a big fan. James Vince is just quietly destroying the Liam Livingston on the bowl. Get 98 again,
Palm.
you fuck.
So I think we talked a little bit about this earlier. Like, was this, say, Barcelona leaking this? So they're kind of showing how much we've paid him, how much, why we may be letting him go, maybe what we want to get back, sort of transfer fee wise, and all that sort of stuff.
This is what we've done for you.
If you're Messi, you're probably worried about the tax man again.
Yeah.
He now knows how much money you're making from the club. So
Yeah, you don't need to tell the tax man. I've been telling him it's about half of that, so he's got another couple of court cases.
yeah, he's probably not going back to Spain anytime soon. So
The biggest thing with the Messi Ronaldo debate, like again, it's like the tennis, and that we're so lucky we grew up watching Ronaldo and Messi play.
like, yeah,
Together.
Messi,
Two
but
greats.
Ronaldo's done it now in Italy, did it in Spain, started in England. They're your big three. Messi's just been in comfortable Barcelona, which that doesn't knock anything. But why not have a go at City? Go back to Guardiola as the manager of City. Do it.
Yep.
exactly.
But now you look at this. You look at this money. Like
There's no way that are they gonna. Is anyone in the
he'd be
EPL
34, 35. Jimmy will chase that up for us now. But like you said, you spend that much money
34.
and you watch him go to the Premier League and be elite, but he won't score 40 goals a season.
No,
it just doesn't happen in the Premier
it
League.
doesn't.
The way it's set up, the shocking conditions you play in.
33.
Again,
33. Well, that's not too bad.
So maybe he's got a couple of years. Do you go to City and win, and then not end the debate, but have that add
Throw it
that
in
string
there.
to your bow?
I think when you go wherever someone's paying you half a
Yeah,
million
exactly
euros.
right. I mean, like,
'Cause you
again,
gotta
he
remember
doesn't have to ever walk on a soccer.
Got to remember that was a
soccer
deal that
field.
was signed, say, 5 years ago. So, again, when he was younger, 28. Well, let's say it was 5 years. He was 28, roughly. Do you think anyone in the EPL is going to shell out that kind of money?
No, but no, I don't think anyone will. That's why my theory is Barcelona leaked this to say this is look at what how ridiculous we've done. now the pressure's on the Messi camp. You're almost guilty to accept that money now. So the public now know they're in Spain. We're in a global pandemic. People have lost their jobs. Look what's happening in Europe, and you're earning this.
And you play football, so
that's.
It'll be interesting to see what this does.
Again, the rumour mill in soccer, in football, is one of the most intriguing. You hear these rumours build up for months in advance, and then he's just going to sign another $200 million with Barcelona.
Exactly. So does Messi think Barcelona league? Does he want to go back to Barcelona?
Exactly. But yeah. So now it just seems there's this big rift between their greatest player, one of the greatest clubs. Why aren't you this mutual party?
It never seems to work out like that.
It's just it's again, when you're individual, when you're playing a team sport and your individual is bigger than the team. This happens. Like, this inevitably happens. But we're talking about one of the 3 or 4 best world sport clubs. The way they run, the money they earn, their standing in their country. I mean, there's no real. James Vince has skied one, and it's frozen. Mitchell Marsh has just dropped it. Mitchy boy.
They're
anyway,
hard running backwards like that, chasing the ball.
They're into him too. It's in Sydney. But that's the world in soccer at the moment. That was the EPL, and Lionel Messi earning dumb money, so him and Lewis Hamilton can hang out together and drink caviar.
Well, I think he shits all over what Hamilton's earning at the moment.
They both shit all over us.
Exactly.
Maybe they can throw a couple bucks our ways.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe they can sponsor us.
Hard to shit on $0. Champions League is scheduled to start.
It's going ahead. Just happening. They're just going to go ahead with it. Private jets off the plane to the pitch, back on your private jets.
Yeah, no crowds.
I mean, that's the money. Look at the money they're giving one bloke. That's what you can give to the whole team. So.
Oh, exactly. They're going to have jets up there, wazoo, that sort of money. All those rich Russian billionaires and guys that own football teams. So. Let's look at the NFL, and then we'll go to the NBA to finish this up. So, since our last podcast in the world of NFL news, the quarterback carousel has already started. First news, of course, was Deshaun Watson has officially requested his trade from Houston. He's put out a whole bunch of he's taken off all his social media that, he's no longer the Houston Texans quarterback. He's now an athlete. So it sounds like he wants to be moved. Houston at the moment saying we're not moving him. They haven't kind of come around to it. A bunch of teams already starting to, ask, what's going to be involved in this trade. But the Stafford and Goff trade probably may make them rethink the value of what.
Did this take you by surprise? Obviously, we thought Stafford was going somewhere.
No. So what took me by surprise was I thought they might have to move Goff first elsewhere to then get, say, someone like Stafford. Because I knew the Rams were interested. We knew there was a bit of rift there between McVay and Goff. That whole news of their marriage kind of breaking down. Clearly, it is, no counselling for these guys. They're just gone with a straight break. Goff is traded to the Lions for Stafford. Stafford goes back to the Rams. So the Rams get Stafford. The Lions get Goff. A 3rd-round pick this year, then a 1st-round pick next year, and a 1st-round pick of the following year in the draft.
That sounds great for Detroit.
Yeah, the picks actually came in because of Goff's contract. It is such a monster. It's so hard to actually move for a team to bring that on. I think he's making like $40-50 million cap hits.
The cap hit is huge.
The incentive is actually for Detroit. Here's your draft picks as well. Yeah, so it's not so much a swap. My opinion, I'm not sure Matt Stafford is leaps and bounds an upgrade from Jared Goff, but they just clearly they got to the pinnacle. They got to the Super Bowl. They scored 3 points, and ever since then, you've got a statue behind an offensive line that's shaky. So
average.
Goff just wasn't taking them that far, and Stafford, contract-wise, I think Stafford's contract is still not no dollars. But it is significantly less than what Goff has currently got because he signed that massive deal after that Super Bowl run you alluded to. What's interesting in this was the Rams traded 2 1st-round picks to move up to get Goff, and then they've just traded 2 1st-round picks to get rid of him, which was interesting.
After he took him to a Super Bowl.
After they took him to the Super Bowl. The report was the Broncos, Panthers actually very strong as well. with their offer. Bears,
Gabe was
49ers,
involved there.
and Patriots all inquired and / made offers into this. Stafford said he didn't want to actually go to New England, so that ruled them out. He didn't want any of that Bill Belichick and Patriot way.
The Tom Brady stink would still be in the building there. You don't want to be the next guy from
Big shoes.
Plus, the Rams, they've the sneaky good offense. They've got weapons there. Their defense is elite. You got Aaron Donald, who's probably could be a shout for Defensive Player of the Year again.
I think he's got it. Oh, sorry. That was not the thing to do into the microphone. Sorry,
They're dropping.
James Vince again getting dropped.
That's a harder one, that one.
That was a very hard chance there. He goes to 95 with 5 overs remaining. The Sixers are poised to put on a massive score here.
So I was just going to
finish that off, and then I'll say what I've got here about the Rams and how they've sort of built their team.
So to finish up on, say, this whole trade news, there was rumour / news kind of floating around that the Rams did inquire about Aaron Rodgers, whether he is available or not. The Pack by all sounds of it, said bugger off to leave us alone. He's not available.
Do they say bugger in America?
Probably not.
Bugger off, matey.
Probably started with fuck off. So, of course, then they've changed tack and go, well, Stafford's probably the best available at the moment. Let's get him in the door. There's been news following on that now the Eagles may be looking to move Wentz. Wentz, though, was ranked, I think, 31 of 32 quarterbacks this year, so he didn't have a great year.
Who was 32?
They get low 30s gets weird because of backups come in. Someone's played 8 games. Yeah.
Vince didn't get dropped that time. Vince is out on 95.
No ton.
Yeah, Marsh doesn't.
Oh, so sad. Who do you have to blame for that one? Fuck boy. You've only made 200 runs in the last knock.
How many more is that than you this year, Mac?
I've had a lean run after my couple cheeky 15s I had. I've had a very lean run. I'll be opening tomorrow out of K-Land for anyone interested, though.
So there's of course more quarterback news will happen in the coming weeks with how things will move around and how that all happens. But one thing I wanted to kind of raise as an interesting idea: would the Lions actually keep Goff? Because I had this thinking that, hey, you've got the 7th pick at the moment. Maybe flip Goff to someone like the Patriots, who clearly looking like they need a quarterback. Goff, I think, kind of fits their team overall as that team manager as a comparison to Tom Brady. Yes, he doesn't throw it as deep as often as Tom did, especially what he's done with Tampa this year. But he fits that game manager mold that maybe Bill could get something out of him. Flip him, say, the Patriots' first rounder, either this year or next year. Then you've got some ammo with your 7th pick to then, say, move up to, say, 2 if the Jets don't want to stay there and when they want to move down a little bit because they're like, hey, we're sticking with Donald. But even if they don't, then you'd say move to 3 because I think the Dolphins, if they don't trade for Watson, that is, stay with Tua, they could move down a little bit and they could still have Chase or Smith as the 2 target because they're going to go wide receiver. They're sticking with Tua, they're going to go wide receiver first round. But they move back, pick up an extra pick. And then the Lions can move up, and then they pick that whoever 3rd quarterback is, whether you got Wilson, Fields, Lance, whoever that guy is they want. Then that's your face of your franchise going forward. Versus Goff, who I think is 28.
Yeah, he's
about that.
Yeah, my age at least.
Yeah, around that kind of age, because he's not going to win your Super Bowl with the Lions. That's clear.
But I don't think the Lions are thinking Super Bowl in the next 2 years.
I totally agree.
I think it's 7.
So if you're not thinking Super Bowl, move him, get the pick, get the guy you think.
But what are Detroit now getting for a bloke who's now going to be shafted from 2 teams, clearly not wanted, has that massive cap hit? The Rams had to give up 2 first-round picks to get rid of him.
True. But they will get Stafford and so it's hard to work out a match.
I think the thinking is, I think it's 2 years with Goff.
Yep.
I think at 7 they get a Wilson or they get a Lance or a Mac Jones. You're probably reaching there at the end, but they don't have to come in straight away. I think when you Trevor Lawrence should start day 1. Joe Burrow started day 1.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes started week 17 of his rookie year.
Yeah.
He had Alex Smith to teach him how to do it. You've now got a bloke who's been to a Super Bowl, who's had Sean McVay in his headset for his whole career.
Yeah.
Use that knowledge. Detroit has been a disgrace for so many years. You bring in some winning culture. You've got the new coach. Draft someone at 7, and then Goff's obviously your starter. He'll make you competitive, build a bit of winning culture, bring in a couple pieces. They've got the ammunition now over the next couple of years to build around Jones, Lance, Wilson, whoever it is. Because you go, if the Jets pass up on Fields, then they're more the Jets than they think they are. Miami, I think they keep Tua, so they put a piece around him. And then you've got 4, 5, 6. Bengals won't be drafting quarterback. 5 is I was looking at this morning.
The draft order.
You've got a quarterback at 7. Like unless when moves start coming in, people are moving up above you.
Yeah,
I think we said there's
Justin
5. You've got Lawrence, Fields, Lance, Jones, and I just said his name, Wilson.
It's Wilson. Yeah.
So
And then Trusk, I think 6.
yeah, but
who's probably going to be late first round. If he sneaks in.
I think you get your quarterback at 7. You let Goff mentor, put your rookie in a backup role, and then go from there with this ammunition you now have. And let's be honest, Detroit aren't going to shock the world next year. They're going to have a good pick next year, 2 first-round picks next year, 2 first-round picks the year after.
They're going to pick well.
Yeah. Well, which they haven't done. So, but that's how you build a good team. Rams haven't had a first-round pick since 2017. They won't for the next couple of years.
Zach Goff was their last first-round pick. So
you can pick. Well,
he was number 1 overall, wasn't he?
Yeah, Goff was number 1 in 2016.
Wentz was 2.
Wentz was 2.
Wentz was 2.
And the Rams had to trade up to get Goff.
Yeah, and Rams haven't had a first-round pick and won't have one until 2014.
24. We're not in the time machine.
24.
Add an extra 10 years, James.
But there's your picking. So Rams have clearly changed their whole tack. Their defense is built around 2 young guys, Aaron Donald, who's an alien, Jalen Ramsey, who's an alien. So there's 2 parts of the field. You know it's not going to go to one side of the field because Ramsey's there. Donald's in there creating a muck. Now we just need to fill in pieces there.
Yeah, and they've done well. Like they've got Brockers and
exactly.
Got a really
Fowler, Matthews was there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Their offense was an issue. They paid Goff too much money. They paid Todd Gurley too much money. They've got Cooper Kupp. Reynolds came on this year. Robert Woods is good.
Cam Akers looks like he's going to be good for them.
Exactly, and he was a late round pick. So they've clearly, and it's interesting how GMs do it. They value different positions and they value draft picks differently.
Yeah.
So 3 third-round picks, what are the chances of you getting a Pro Bowler there? If you've got 3 picks, maybe a 10% chance.
Yeah. It drops off, definitely.
Well, the percentage of your first round, of your 25th pick is actually not that different to the 3 blokes in the third round pick.
Yeah.
So that's how they look at it. Now they've got Matt Stafford. Well, let's see how it goes. It's more McVay than the quarterback. Stafford's a tough motherfucker. We've seen him, battle in Detroit for way too long than he should have been. He should have been in a better team that whole time.
Yeah,
it's exciting. Like we said last week, when quarterbacks move, it makes it interesting. Your team changes their whole outlook.
So just following, great segue on to some other quarterbacks news. It looks like Matt Ryan will stay put at the Falcons because he's got a ridiculously high cap number. That I think if he left the Falcons, it's still like 30 mil that they'd be paying him. So you might as well pay him to play for them versus pay for someone else.
And this is your back end of your Goff deal. You got to hit on those 5 years with the first round. Yeah. You've got to hit your Super Bowl because then you got to pay him. That's what you have to do. You've got to pay him, and then your cap's distorted and you lose your free agents.
Yeah. So on that, Falcons are number 4 in the draft as well.
Thanks.
Yeah. So they're probably going to pick their heir apparent at that point. But Matt Ryan's probably going to play there maybe another year or 2 until his deal's better where they can move him on. So the other one news is Derek Carr probably looks like he's available, and Sam Darnold could also be on the move. There's been reports about people inquiring about the various quarterbacks out there. It could be
Darnold to the Patriots. Would be an idea. I think. I don't know if they do it.
Well, I think Derek Carr could put Patriots like that. It fits there too. Like he's probably under. I think Carr's a bit undervalued. I think he's definitely middle tier of quarterbacks. He can win you games. You build a good defense around him. You could probably take him to Super Bowl.
But Carr's one. He's got a contract now. He's been paid. He's got something dumb like 70 fumbles since he's debuted.
Really?
He's the small hand. They measure the hands. He's got small
the
hands.
9 inches.
Darnold's an interesting one. Like we actually don't know what Sam Darnold is because he's been in the Jets. He's had Adam Gase. He's one you could just see going to like the 49ers and or the Patriots and just
put some talent around him. And
exactly
good coaching.
right. They need to move Sam Darnold because they need to draft Fields.
Yep.
They just need to you've got the second pick. You've got a chance to just do it. Just do it.
Do it.
Nike.
But considering they picked Darnold at 3, I think, 2 years ago.
But
so.
again, we talked about last week, you draft Josh Rosen at 10 and the following year you just draft the best quarterback. And now they look all right. Like, that's what Arizona did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You missed it with Darnold. Just Fields is
make
good.
Darnold someone else's problem and then
And get a second round pick for him.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
like even a Pittsburgh or something.
Yeah.
They're probably looking for a quarterback now behind Ben. So
Yeah, exactly. And Roethlisberger on the news and that they're all talking about his deal and he's trying to restrict. He might take the vet minimum and like that's what they're talking about. He's like, I'm happy to reconstruct because I want to be back because they want to bring his cap number down. But I think what I was going to say with, after that 5-year window of the rookie deal, you really need to have a guy that's like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Because you want to pay him because hey, he's probably going to be here the next 10 years. Let's pay him shit.
exactly. You're happy to pay Patrick Mahomes because you got the best quarterback. That's what you want.
Yeah. You want a guy that's top 5.
Yeah.
Which is quite odd that you see someone like Watson who's out there on the market at the moment. Houston saying, hey, he's not going to be moved, but it doesn't look like he wants to be back. So they might take...
Who does it? Who gives up the 4 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson? It's probably going to have to be that and a player or something like who...
Massive deal.
Do you reckon 4 first-rounders?
Yeah, well...
Because it's all precedent. That's like with the contracts. You got to beat the following guy.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson's agent walks in and says... for whatever circumstances, Jared Goff just went with 2 first-round picks. Like, you need to... So, Houston historically been shocking at trades, but that was Bill O'Brien. If they want to do this right, get 2 first-round draft picks. Just blow that thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd seen someone talking about, for Denver as a comparison, like it would be Locke, it would probably be someone like Fant and Judy as well if you're going to do players, some first round picks, and then you probably want 2 to 3 defensive starters as well. Like it's a crazy package. Like, but you got to think about it is you're probably going to have Watson then probably redo his deal, and he's there for the next 5 to 10 years.
He's a top 10 quarterback, top 5 quarterback. So
if he stays healthy, because he did do his ACL a while ago,
Yeah.
like he's top 5 at the moment. He's got ridiculous numbers. Maybe you're not franchising, you're selling your future over the franchise, but he could be the future of the franchise as well.
Exactly
So
right.
you just got to work out what
I'd
works.
say the Colts. I could see him fitting the Colts, but again, in division.
Yeah,
It really
in division's
hasn't.
very hard. But then
So-
you ask, well, what are they going to want back for the Colts? So that great
That's what I mean.
defensive nucleus you've put together, they might want half of that.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, shit, maybe that's not what for us. Maybe we'll look at someone like, say, Derek Carr, who could maybe fit in and put them over the top.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all speculation.
Yeah. Because the downfall is Houston, you have to trade him because he says he doesn't want to play.
Yeah, exactly. He's already gone out.
So you're going to have
and
your
said
quarterback saying, I don't want to,
that. You can't.
So on the
Well,
other
what
end,
he's-
do
what
they
he's-
get lowballed because Watson holds the leverage here by selling to every other team saying, I don't want to be here?
Very clear. He also has the leverage where he has a no trade clause in his contract. So they can't actually trade him to. So they could turn around and say, well, we're trading to Jets. Well, actually, no. Yeah, I think he wanted to go to Jets. But like, hey, we're going to trade you to the shittest team possible. We're going to take a huge package. You can go, no, you can't trade me there. He gets a decision as part
He's
of the
got
trade.
power.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So if they say, hey, we're going to trade you Patriots, you're like, nah, I'm feeling the 49ers is a better position. Go work that deal out.
Yeah.
The Niners might be like, well, he's a second round pick. And they're like, well, that's not enough. It's like, oh, that's what we're offering. So then it goes back into Watson's ballpark of, is he going to sit a year? Is a year then become 2? Like, no, I don't think he would.
No,
but
I don't know. I think he goes. I think Houston
They have
gets
to trade
fair compensation. It'll be something dumb.
It'll
And
be-
then you
it'll
just
be
have to hit on those draft picks. You just have to hit on them because then you're fucked.
Yeah. So
Do you want to get straight in the Super Bowl? Or
Yeah,
like
I think
nothing really.
let's do some Super Bowl and then we'll come back to the other news in the NFL. So Super Bowl preview, as we talked,
Dun, dun, dun,
Chiefs
dun.
versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers is 2 days away. Monday for us, so Sunday for everyone else. Chiefs have had a little bit of the COVID during the week.
Any
but I
big
think
names?
Demarcus Robinson, I think, was the main one, but I think he's now come back off the list, so he's all right.
Did he miss the last? No, did he play?
I think Hardman as well, possibly, but I think they're coming good, so they've cleared up. I think it might have been close contact.
Yeah, they're not. No one had it. It was all close.
All close
Robinson was the only notable name, and
Right.
he was a close contact one.
Yeah.
I don't think he's officially off, but they he's going to be off. So
Yeah. So I think otherwise for Tampa Bay, everyone's looking pretty healthy. AB's been training, so he looks like he'll play. Cameron Bright's been limited, but looks like he'll play as well. Bright. Yeah. Bright. Sorry. Fuck yeah.
my son is also named Breed.
Yes. So some interesting kind of tidbits leading into this. So the first female ref in Super Bowl will be Sarah Thomas. She will be part of the reffing crew for this. Peyton Manning is the only quarterback to win Super Bowls with multiple teams.
That's fascinating in itself, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. Because Joe Montana was probably the only other one that went really close because after he left the 49ers and went to the Chiefs, they made playoffs but didn't win. So Tom Brady, of course, could be to join Peyton and take another one of his records. Could join as that very rare two quarterbacks to win Super Bowls with multiple teams.
It is bizarre, isn't it? But it shows you if you don't have the quarterback, it's hard to bring him in on free agent, and because you're obviously paying him, and it's
exactly.
It's
just such a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And like take Peyton for example, that's right at the back end of his career. He definitely was fading and struggling, and they had an unreal defense that took him over the point. Like Von Miller basically, was like, we won the Super Bowl. We're going to win you a Super Bowl for this one, and they had such a great defense to do it. So there's a bit of a story that came out yesterday. So Andy Reid's son, who I think's Brett, who's the linebacker coach for Kansas City, he was in a car accident outside Arrowhead Stadium, so obviously leaving stadium after work. I think he ran up the back of a car that was pulled off the side of the road, had a bunch of kids in the back of the car, and they've been in hospital. One, I think, in a critical condition. Sounds like he was intoxicated. So I wonder how
kids in the car is.
So I wonder how this affects Andy as the coach with his son being hitting this like a day and a half out from the Super Bowl. Also a coach as part of the organisation. So it'd be interesting to see how that kind of affects the preparation for the Chiefs and the Chiefs coming into it. Because I think they probably get on the plane tomorrow to fly to Florida. I think they're flying in. To then get on the game. So
it's pretty recent.
Bright, not Brett.
Brett.
Sorry.
Bright.
Bright. That one is a little bit unusual.
Exactly. I mean, you, the whole world's watching this. Any slight deviation from your concentration.
Yeah, like Andy, he's probably
he's
probably putting in 20 hours a day at the moment, trying to get ready, prepping for how he's going to call this offense to attack this Tampa Bay defense, which has come on very strong. Last thing you want is a phone call from the coppers to tell you, your son's been in an accident, he's intoxicated.
Your grandkids are in there,
he's going to be charged possibly for this. And
the kids were in the park car.
So not his car. So it's not his kids. Sorry,
I thought he was.
But
he's with his kids in the car.
Yeah, someone else's kids. I think they were. They were pulled over. It was they carrying another car, and he's poleaxed a lot of them. So. It'd be interesting to see how that affects them. But otherwise, I think both teams looking pretty healthy.
Chiefs O-line's the only
Chiefs the tackles.
But
But for guys that were going to have question marks leading into the game, they've kind of cleared that up. I think a lot of guys will play.
You play the Super Bowl. You've got a niggle, you play the Super Bowl.
What of niggles? I think we've talked about it probably at length, that whole offense defensive battle and who's going to kind of come up on top of this. You'd probably pick name-wise, you probably pick Tampa's defense over Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense is still really good. Like, it's hard to pick that. The offensive weapons,
secondary. I think that's a problem.
Yeah. I think both safeties are healthy, so Winfield and Whitehead will both play.
They've played well in the playoffs.
Exactly, and that's a really good get for them. But then you look at that Chiefs offense, and you're just like, Tampa's offense, they've got all the big names at wide receiver, but you look at the other guys, and it's like so many big names.
And the alien throwing it to them as well. So it's like
On that though, so Tampa is only the second team ever to score 30+ points in all 3 playoff games, leading into the Super Bowl.
Definitely.
So
can you bring up what the odds are at the moment for sports bet?
I can tell you right now, KC are -3.
The favourites?
So they're 3-point favourites. The over-under is 55.5.
Over.
That one wasn't. So.
Well, you think over.
Well, that is true.
Here's a stat for you.
Mass 51.
Here's a stat for you about overs and unders. Tom Brady has been in 9 Super Bowls. How many points do you think he scored in first quarters?
In first quarter.
He's had 9 first quarters. How many points do you think he scored?
Seeing that Rams game wouldn't have been overs. Yeah.
No, definitely under.
One touchdown a quarter.
You'd say about
Seven.
over 9 games, so 7 nines. Tested me 63.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quick
I
math.
think less
Quick
than
math, less than that.
Is
Well,
it
yeah, I'll tell you that.
six
There's more
nines,
people
not
in this
7 nines?
room than he has scored points in the first quarter. Tom Brady has scored 1 field goal
There you
in
go.
9 first quarters in the Super Bowl.
Wow. So slow starts.
Very
Well,
slow. I mean, it
you think
doesn't
of the
matter. He's won 6 of them.
Yeah.
So,
But
but
think of the Falcons Super Bowl. Like, they came back from
Yeah.
30. So
he's had a couple missed field goals. They've had a safety in there as well. But they're slow starters. If you actually think about the Super Bowl, and I look when the number's 55, it's gone under 6 times in a row or something.
Okay.
The conservative, you want
defense wins championships.
You want to
Yeah,
feel
that's
the other
true.
team out. You don't want to be the first one to make a mistake. You don't want to be the first one to risk anything too bad.
Yep.
The first
Yeah.
quarter is always low scoring.
scoring,
I
yeah.
think my only for those bettors out there, please do so responsibly. I've got the first half under. It's about 28.5.
Oh.
I'm big on the under. I actually alternated it to about 20 to 25. I think about 14.
Chiefs usually start a bit slow as well.
Exactly
They
right.
Let points go and then
Slow
they score
starters.
big. in the
Famously
second.
last year.
Yeah.
They were always chasing their ass.
Chasing their ass, and I think
It's so hard to repeat though.
yeah,
well,
exactly
so-
right. And they've got the tape on each other. We've talked about we'll talk about week 12 in a second. And like the refs let a bit go, so I think Tyreek Hill gets held a bit. He won't be able to run around. I think with the O line, the Chiefs have if the left tackle is out, so the right guard's moved to left tackle,
Yeah,
and
right
now they have a
tackle's out,
new right guard. So by the left tackle being out, they've actually had 2 spots interrupted because the right guard shift. No, because the right tackle or someone's moving. There's 3 spots moving.
Yeah, because right tackle's hurt as well. So
Yeah.
they're missing both their tackles and they're moving guys.
Yeah,
probably
so
from
their guard-
interiors outside and then bringing
Who is
in
that? Eric
new
Fisher
guys.
and
Fisher and,
And
Schwartz
Schwartz.
are out.
Mitchell
So
Schwartz.
they're very banged up.
And they're 2 elite tackles.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
they're really good tackles.
And they've got elite outside rushes, so you give that matchup straight away. And I just think with a banged up offensive line, you won't stop the Chiefs from scoring, but you limit what they can do. Mahomes is have to going to get out quicker.
But he moves around a lot as well.
He's
so
got that ability.
He loves the broken pocket. So
He's banged up. It's so easy to discount the Chiefs. It's so easy to say, it's just boring to say they've got a good team.
and they'll drop 40 on.
They just it'll just happen. But I think it'll be it'll be a grind at the start. They'll feel each other out. They'll make adjustments at halftime. I think the second half we'll see the score up.
So let's talk. Their last matchup was week 12. So Kansas City won that matchup 27-24. Scoreline probably a bit misleading with Tampa Bay scoring 2 touchdowns late to bring this closer. Because garbage time because the Chiefs absolutely dominated in the first half. This is where Tyreek Hill had 200 yards in a quarter, didn't he? So
Something like that.
they absolutely pumped him. So
Finished with 13 for 269, 3 touchdowns.
I think
Fair day out.
it was probably a down week as well for Tampa's defense. So I think they'll probably be out for revenge a little bit too. So they're probably expecting it. That's not a bad scoreline close-wise. I think this matchup's probably going to be close and probably around that kind of scoreline.
Yeah.
Maybe 35-28. But
I think there's going to be points, but knowing each other, having tape on each other, having 2 weeks to prepare for that tape.
Yeah.
I do have some other numbers here from that game. Kelsey had 8 catches, but he only went for 82 yards. Gronk had 6 catches for 106. Godwin 8 catches for 97. Evans only had 3 catches, but like you said, he had 2 touchdowns in the last quarter. AB didn't have much. I think it was AB's first or second game with the team. I wouldn't think he's going to be much of a factor anyway. He's been very banged up. If he plays, he won't be on the offense too much.
Yeah, maybe
they were up,
misdirection a little bit.
like Sean said, they were up 17-0 at quarter time.
Yeah,
so this game's
Game
the game
management for 3
script
quarters.
changes exactly right. You choose some clock. We've got Mahomes threw for 460 yards, 3 tutties. He did lose a fumble, but he was throwing at 75%. Brady 27 of 41 for 345, but obviously he's been chasing the whole game. He did throw 2 interceptions. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 of them in the last sort of 10 minutes.
When did Fournette join the
So-
Tampa Bay?
Start of the year.
Start of the year,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was there round 1, I reckon.
Yeah, he. I think he was signed.
There you go.
Yeah,
So-
didn't play any preseason, and then I remember coming into the
Yeah.
start of the year, there was a whole
Right.
Yeah.
So
There
Jacksonville.
you go. But
kind of-
he's been heating up. Like he's been running the ball
dude,
hard.
Oh, he's a hard runner.
yeah.
And that's it. You need
and then
momentum in the
Rojo
playoffs.
had nearly 1,000 yards, or did he have I think he had nearly 1,000 yards in the season.
Yeah.
I think they've gone to Fournette though more.
Yeah, I don't think
Fournette.
Rojo's been
Yeah, they
great
have.
in the playoffs.
I think they've just gone to him. But I mean, like I said last week, when you think of the Kansas City defense, you think Chris Jones in the middle. You got Frank Clark on the outside, Honey Badger patrolling the middle. Other than that, it's role
It's a
players.
meh.
So, but you know, the
They're so good.
cornerbacks aren't great, but you've got Chris Jones and Brady's face, and you've got Clark coming on the outside. So the ball's not going to be perfect every time. But then you've got Mike Evans, so you don't have to throw a perfect ball. Like it's a very, very good matchup across the
awesome,
board.
isn't
It's going to be one of the better games. I think there's no way we can deny.
I don't think it's going to be a scoreline like the Rams Chief game was, where they scored 50
No,
each.
no,
I don't think it's
no,
going to be like. I
no.
think it'll be close and competitive. It was interesting you bring up Honey Badger because Bruce Arians actually drafted the Honey Badger and said it's probably the best draft pick I ever made. So you know that's a huge call from him and huge shout from that.
He had
He's been
it was a
around,
bit
so.
of controversial coming out of college. He had some off-field stuff.
Yeah,
but
smaller bloke as well,
LSU.
so,
Yeah, I think he went to the third round. LSU. He was one of
Yeah.
those. Yeah, like I think he was defensive captain at LSU, but you know.
Yeah, smaller bloke as well.
So
There you go. Like you know,
undersized, isn't he? For
there you go. No first round. Like the Rams are banking on picking guys in the third round, like the Honey Badger to pick their team. That's just how different people.
he was
attack
third
it.
round pick 69, dinner for two.
So
That's where we're at.
Well, I just want to quickly touch
Okay,
on
go.
KC's defense against Brady. So back in the last matchup, so on 45% of Brady's dropbacks, KC blitzed, which was the third highest blitz rate against Brady for the season. His stats for those was 11 of 19, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
it's always been the game plan, though. You got to get after Brady. You got to make him uncomfortable.
That's it. Yeah, so compared to when they didn't blitz, it was 16 of 22, 2 touchdowns, which there's garbage time ones probably, and 0 interceptions. So
It'll be big
I guess
on.
that's sort of
It'll be big on
Such
the
a game
offensive
plan.
line for Tampa.
As
so.
a Packers fan as well, that's what did Rodgers essentially. Is that front seven coming after him hard. Maybe they're going to do the same.
And I think it's a good point you bring up. Mahomes had like his stats are actually better against the blitz than not, purely because you know he's got the security blanket of Kelsey and you know
he's
you've
got so
got
many
one.
weapons.
If you're getting blitzed, that means you've got 1-on-1 on the outside with Hill. So
Yeah.
obviously it's going to be good. I actually don't think Tampa Bay have to blitz with this banged up O line. You've got two of the best outside rushers, Vita Vea and Sue wrecking the middle. They won't have to send too many extra blokes regularly. So again, I just think this matches up beautifully. It sucks for the injuries on the O line, but it almost plays into the game script a little bit more with Tampa Bay's strongest point being that front seven, and you know injuries through KC. It's going to be great. I mean, I love the Super Bowl every year. Usually it's on the first day of school of term 1. So this year it's on week 2. I'm not, I don't have to be as switched on. Which is good. Well, no, I won't be able to.
Can you get a relief teacher in? I can't be here today.
Maybe, just the kids will have to get a real lesson in Tom Brady on Monday.
That's right.
Yeah.
You guys want to achieve success? Just watch this man.
Exactly right.
So let's run around the room. Picks. I'm assuming you're going Tampa Bay.
I'm going Kansas City with no confidence.
I'm going to say Kansas City 30-28. Yeah, 27.
I want to back my boy down the end of the table. I'm going to go Tampa.
Split decision.
Split decision.
Decision.
It's
Skull bet,
gonna be
obviously.
close.
Should we skull bet for next week's?
All right, done.
Yeah.
We better do it.
Skull bets.
Skull bets,
I'm-
all right.
I'm going to go 31-28 Tampa Bay. That's
Skull bets are on.
Skull bets are on.
There'll
Lock it
be
in. Lock it in.
2 skulls happening next week.
Regardless.
Regardless.
Kansas
I
City,
think, yeah.
they're going to win the first half. But Tampa Bay's going to come back in the second
Come
half.
back.
Yeah.
Brady was shocking in the second half last
Yeah,
week against
throwing
the
some
Packers.
absolute dust.
my thoughts is Tampa will go ahead early. Kansas City will bring it back, and then Tom Brady somehow wins it in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
He'll win it on the last
He
drive.
Brady's the
Yeah, he
game.
Brady's.
He Brady's the game. Like,
Yeah.
That'll be the storyline.
Life is a simulation. He's the cheat code.
We're just living in it. But yeah, can't wait.
Enjoying the ride.
Yeah. So let's wrap through some other NFL news. So what's happened in Ravenland with the tackles?
Yeah, tackle problem at the moment. Bit of a shift of power. Orlando Brown in the last year of his deal, so I think he's been at the rookie deal. So he's at the negotiation table with the front office, and he's put out a tweet saying, "I'm a left tackle." He's obviously on the right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ronnie Stanley's got this $100 million deal. He's a 6th overall pick, all pro last year. Got injured. Orlando Brown played serviceably. And he's probably better than serviceably this year. He did pretty well. He is a beast. He's 6'9" and 350 or something. Like, he is huge. So
Son of a Hall of Fame.
Poor Orlando Brown. And he wants to play left tackle. He's committed to it. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to play on the right tackle. He feels it's secondary if you're not left tackle. His old man said something.
We talked a little bit earlier about the tackle money as well, left tackle money.
Your left. That's the blind side. Obviously, the quarterback can't see it as well. So he's committed to play. I haven't really heard of this before about a bloke wanting to swap on the other side. It's pretty much his writing's on the wall. He's going to get traded. So it's about what compensation the Ravens can get. It seems to be pretty common that they're going to get a first round pick this year. Because they're going to have to move. They're going to have to move him, otherwise they lose him next year for nothing. So
didn't Houston trade, which ended up being
Laramie Tunsil, a couple first round picks.
Yeah, and it ended up being the number 3 pick. So first round pick definitely.
I wouldn't, because of the time of the year, they're obviously going to want to get immediate compensation. He can go play left tackle wherever it is. Chargers are rumored to be there. So
do you want a first round pick this year or next year?
Well, I mean, I've got really angry. Like, the draft this year is going to be so altered because you've only got tape really on Power 5 schools and your top players. So
you're relying on tape from the year before, 2019.
Exactly right. Yeah. But it seems to be a pretty good draft at the top. Ravens need a wide receiver if they can get something near the top 10, maybe a Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase if he falls. So, look, again, it's one of those things. That 14-2 seasons the Ravens had where Lamar was unanimous MVP, you just got to cash in on that year and win it. I think they had 14 all pro bowlers or something like that. You had the perfect team.
A ridiculous amount.
You lose to the Titans. So it shows you how quickly it happens, because now those pro bowlers, Mark Andrews need to get paid. Ronnie Stanley's been paid. Marlon Humphrey gets paid.
They had Yanda back then as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's retired now as well. Now you're going to have
losing your
the whole right side of your offensive line is going to be gone within 2 years. So
it happens quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Got to cash in on these years. You know, we talk about moving quarterbacks. I think we looked into
the MVP as well. It's a bit of a curse. I don't think an MVP's won it since Kurt Warner did it in
01?
2099 or whatever his greatest show on turf. Yeah.
So his last MVP to actually win a Super Bowl.
I think.
So
bit of a curse there.
Look. Again, they went 11-5 this year. They won a playoff game. They're looking all right, but now that team is sort of falling apart. So
they need some more, receiving weapons.
I think they've put all their money into their defense and they've relied on drafting their offense, which is great. But now your money's going to have to go back into your offense. But so they've done it uniquely. They looked primed to do it 2 years ago. The Super Bowl's just hard to win. It just goes back to that point that
it is hard to win.
A bloke's might win his 7th. Like, it's just mental. Like so.
Oh, that's crazy.
But yeah.
So in some other NFL news, Jason Witten, we kind of talked about he retired and they'd probably take a head coaching job. He has. He's now
in Texas somewhere.
I've completely forgotten where this actually was. Maybe it was Alabama. I can't remember. But yes, he's got his head coaching football job and he's off to do that. There is going to be NCAA sports game, so the equivalent of Madden but for college guys is back, and I think that kind of has to do a little bit with the college guys getting paid because using their likeness,
their images, and
stuff like that, so that they can.
So what's happening?
I think it's been 10 years since the last one. It's been quite a while. Was it? No, actually, no, maybe it's 2014.
I feel like it's 14. I think it might be 7 years.
Yeah, but it's been a while. But so now they can actually pay guys and they can use their likeness and that they've got to make another one. Of course, EA.
So they are giving some of these college guys a bit of.
I think they can make some
from this. Or?
I'm not sure off this, but they can off jersey sales, and it would not surprise me if some of the smarter, bigger name players might be like, "Hey, you're using my image."
Yep.
You have some smart agents flying around, so we'll see.
So one thing to know on that, it's not going to be licensed with the NCAA. So it's just college football. It's not.
Yeah.
The
Interesting.
But they are
Association.
using all the players.
They'll be using all the.
Is
players,
it called NCAA football though?
I don't think they've mentioned that yet. I'm assuming
Because that's
not
what
if it's not
yeah,
licensed.
because that's what the game was called previously. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll all be buying it, I imagine.
well, yeah, we'll,
Tricking it out.
we'll see. Hopefully, it's better. Well, still with EA Sports, it was just kind of annoying because they haven't really evolved that league at all.
Yeah, but
that game
Yeah.
as much
have you
as
played
it was.
Madden like 21? The graphics are unreal.
Yeah, the graphics are look, but the gameplay is still the fucking same.
Yeah, but what do you want? What do you want to change? If,
Franchise mode.
Fix it for exactly. Fix franchise mode.
what would you like to see out of?
Make it
franchise?
good. Make it like it was in 05 and 06.
Yes,
Like
Madden 05 to 08 was pinnacle. You'd
Yeah.
start a franchise. It
Pinnacle of
was
Madden.
draft combine. It was
Yeah.
contract.
so good.
Oh,
Bring it back.
bring it. Yeah.
Not
I
the
remember-
shitty career mode.
I remember
that
the
does mode.
ESPN football one.
Yeah.
2K.
Yeah,
Yeah. 2K.
2K.
whatever it was,
You remember they had
the
the in helmet
first-person view.
Yeah, so good, so funny.
God.
You used to play as like
Hilarious.
Brian Urlacher and you come through the middle. Oh, so much fun. So much fun. So anyway, that is new football game probably coming out towards the end of the year when the college season looks to kick
I
off.
think it's a couple years away. They just said we're in.
I doubt
the
it. I
process
think they'll
of
just copy
making it.
Madden and tweak it a little bit. No, an EA, that's what they're like.
Yeah.
So I think there's been the next story. There's some unofficial reports. Not unlikely that Peyton Manning is going to be first ballot Hall of Famer. I think that's
undoubtedly.
undoubtedly. I think they've been talking to some of the media guys that do vote, and this is like, yeah, of course, Peyton's going to be in there. So it's unofficial, but it's looking more than likely that Peyton, of course, will be in the Hall of Fame, which
Yeah.
unsurprising.
He's the first one you announced.
Yeah.
You announced Peyton Manning first.
exactly.
But it's a pretty good lineup. There's a fair few blokes.
Yeah.
Like now we're starting to get into it where we grew up loving the game and
Yeah,
going into
yeah.
the Hall of Fame. So
Off
it's
the top
pretty
of the
good.
head,
No,
anyone?
Diddley.
Diddley.
I'm absolutely blanking. But there's a few names that we all. Oh,
Lynch, I know John Lynch is on it.
Is Polamalu in there?
I think this bloke
Polamalu.
Atwater missed out again.
He's been
Well, did he make the Hall last
available
year?
for years.
He's been available for a while, but yeah, now the problem is for him is now the next crop of safeties are coming through. So, from here, then you've got Polamalu, Dawkins, Ed Reed, like all these blokes are coming
Reed went
through.
in last
You know,
year.
I'd say the pinnacle of safety play in the NFL is coming through. That golden era, it's going to come through, and guys like Atway will probably miss out. Steve, not John.
But yeah, no, that's. I mean, you would just put Peyton Manning in. That'll be like a Super Bowl day. That'll be part of their coverage, I imagine, that they put on. Peyton Manning, congratulations, a nice highlight package as Tom Brady wins his 7th Super Bowl and breaks his heart again. So
So if I'm looking at this, we've got Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson,
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson,
Oh, Megatron.
Richard Seymour,
Seymour.
Tony Boselli.
Coach?
No, OT,
OT.
for
that
Jaguars
makes-
Texans.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. There are a few of the big names.
How many can they
It
induct?
depends.
It's
I think
up
it's
to them.
It's up to
Who's
them.
up?
It's usually in anywhere from say 6 to 10. I don't think they'll go more than that.
There's someone who they'll put a rider in or someone who's not played and added something. Or
So I think that they've changed the
contributors to the game.
Yeah, so there's contributors.
Podcast host, something like that.
Give me 15 years, then I'll be in there.
Yeah.
So there's usually a coach. There's now I think they've changed it. They do not legend, but like veteran. So the guys that say from the 70s and 80s that missed out, they get a Guernsey. Now is another guy that comes through, so they're trying to put one of those in at least. So let's say 2, and then sometimes they do I think 4 to 6 guys from say current era that come out as the first or second ballot Hall of Fames. You kind of miss out if you miss out in your second and you're moving in third, then you you start to struggle a little bit. But yeah,
346 inductees at the moment.
It's each American sports are just bizarre. So they reckon everyone gets in the Football Hall of Fame. No one gets in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And the Basketball Hall of Fame, no one knows about anyway, so it doesn't matter. They literally, jump codes here, MLB, they didn't put anyone in the Hall of Fame this year.
Really?
Because it's very, there's like the old school riders for the NBL, MLB, and the steroid, they're not putting Barry Bonds in there.
They got
asterisks.
The big asterisk era. So they got to wait a long time before they clear all that out.
Might be a few guys in there that have an asterisk as well.
Yeah. Well, that's the conversation for another day.
True. I think that finishes up our NFL chat. The Senior Bowl happened is probably the only draft news of late with no combine at the end of this month. Pro days, I think, are early March. So maybe they bring a few of those forward with combine not happening. So pro days will probably happen over the next 2 months. Free agency, of course, start of March when the new calendar year happens. But we'll cover that when it gets to it. I think we'll finish up with the NBA because I don't think we've got anything else on our list that we haven't covered.
We've tick over 3 hours, so try to be succinct here.
Yep.
Who wants to lead this?
I'll tell you what, it's been a bit of an eventful week in the NBA. Nets go down to the Wizards. They were winning by 5 with 12 seconds left to go.
Crazy finish.
And Bill came down the court, hit a 3 in Durant's face, I think it was. Then from the inbound,
steal a ball.
They botched the pass. Westbrook scooped it up, ran to the 3-point line, hit it, bang.
Crazy.
And they win by 1. That was pretty cool to see the Nets go down.
And as we were saying last week, poor Bradley Beal, this...
He
wasn't frustrated enough for this game.
Indeed.
Yeah, happy to see Westbrook. He dropped 40 in this one too.
Yeah. So good to see him get some form.
Yeah, break the Nets streak. They'd won 4 straight since Irving had come back, I believe.
With that backcourt, the Wizards shouldn't be as bad as they've been going.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's one of those things. We were talking about Westbrook last week. He seems cooked. You put this flashy performance on, and what happened? I think the next day he missed 20 shots. The 2 days after. So
he got up for this game because he's probably the big 3.
Well, that's
on
their
the other
playoff.
side.
We know the Wizards aren't going into the playoffs. That was their playoff. I think it was yesterday, the day before, Fred VanVleet dropped a casual 54.
How about that?
He hit 11 3-pointers. He was the first undrafted player to hit 40 points, and then he went ahead and became the first undrafted player to hit 50 points. So he wasn't happy with that. But I think Wichita State, he had a good run in the NCAA tournament. They were like an 8 or a 9 seed, and they went all the way to the Final Four, and he was the big part of that.
Wichita.
The Buzzers or Shockers or something. He's
Wichita State, please.
He's he's a good story. He loves Toronto. He turned down big money in the offseason to stay. Winning the ship there, I think, formed a bit of a bond there. He seems like an all-round dude. What do we have there? 76ers are undefeated with their starting 5. So I think that's Embiid, Harris, Simmons. Is it Seth Curry?
Seth Curry.
The shooting guard. And who's the 4?
And the four.
We should know this. Pepsi, tell a joke while I look this up.
So it was the Wichita State Shockers.
The Shockers.
There you go. Go Shockers.
Go Shockers. Do they go like this? The Shockers.
Oh, jeez, we are late in the night for that.
So I think
that was a tired Eddie Maguire excuse.
I think it's interesting, this 76ers stat, considering all the talk about the chemistry between Danny Green, between Embiid and Simmons, that they kind of compete. But seems like you get the starting 5 out there, they're lost.
They're rolling, so and we were talking last week about Simmons and his stats. Maybe not matching up. That team goes with him, sort of thing.
Yeah, they've finally built a team around his play style.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Embiid are the key figures. They've got some shooting around them there. Yeah. Harris, Tobias Harris has been lights out. They're pushing for him to get an all-star gig. That'll be pretty big for 76ers. I think they are the team to beat out of the East. Yep. I mean, the way the Nets are formed, the Nets, with the analytics and the schematics, they're the highest rated offensive team ever since they've formed this big 3.
Should be.
And they're the second worst defensive team with all these, which is
doesn't surprise me.
Wild. Like that's all time, not in the league. That is like since they've been doing these recordings. So they're like a 122 rated offense and a 119 rated defense. So I don't know if you can outwin playoff games like that.
If they can score 140, 150, maybe.
You know what they say, defense wins
championships.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I've got Sixers ahead of probably Celtics, Bucks and Nets in there. So, we said last week, the East is looking pretty competitive. The West is who's going to come second to LeBron. So,
it's the LA teams probably.
Well, Utah has taken the lead.
Well, they're still going. So, that's
Jazz are up there. You mentioned All-Stars. Do you think they should have an All-Star game in the height of COVID?
There's been a few people come out and said they thought. I think De'Aaron Fox said it would be stupid to have one.
I did see that.
We'll get into it in a second, but they're starting to bring in spectators to games.
True,
they're opening it up.
Get some courtside.
My personal thoughts is what fucking difference does one game make if
they're playing the
they're
game.
playing 10 games a day?
True.
Yeah.
I think the more concern is you're taking all these guys from all over the country, bringing them together, and then they go back and maybe they affect all the other teams. But unlikely considering how strict and stringent their little bubble is at the moment.
To me, I think this is a big statement as to what the All-Star game means to players.
True. They're like, we don't want to play this. Let us play the regular season. Let's get that sorted.
Same as the Pro Bowl for the NFL.
Pro Bowl, exactly. We'll
But
play
that's,
Madden.
look where the Pro Bowl's turned to. Like,
it's
they're
about
probably going to do that whether there was no COVID or not.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right,
where they
true,
see.
that's right.
Like the NBA prides themselves on their social justice, being outspoken, being ahead of those politicians
curve.
and stuff. So wouldn't this be good if they came together and said, we're not doing this for a reason. We're not just not doing it because we don't want to. There's a reason behind this. It wouldn't.
But we're also playing 82 regulars.
And then we'll go. You know what I
It's
mean?
not
Like
82 this year. It's
72. I think we worked that out last year.
60 something actually. I think it was,
72.
72 it is. Yeah.
or 69.
Second 69 there.
A few 69s, I think.
So yeah, I mean, it will go ahead. They'll play it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We just. I can't. There's still games being postponed every day because of COVID. Like it's wild that we're just sort of mavericking this and going willy nilly. You notice there's no Lakers games that get postponed. There's no Bucks games that get postponed. The Hornets, Jazz. Low market, low seeded
exactly.
teams. The Suns don't play. I think
If they don't have to, they're not going to. Yeah.
Yeah. So
speaking of COVID, what's the story on Durant and his game against
well,
the
he had
Raptors?
an eventful day this morning. The Nets were up against the Raptors. Durant he was tested up the wazoo. I think he had 3 or 4 negative test returns because he had come in
Close contact
with a positive return. That person didn't necessarily have COVID. They were getting twice as many tests because of protocol. For Luke Livingston, no, that'll plug. Durant got pulled from the starting lineup
after a quarter or in the first quarter?
so he wasn't allowed to start. So he was supposed to be a scratching, and then in that the game started, and they realised, actually, you don't have it. You should be right to play. So he came on after about 8 minutes. I think he scored 8 or 9 points, and then during the third quarter, the NBA actually went, that person has a positive. Ignore that he's been sweating all over anyone. Right now, he cannot finish the game. So at the start of the third quarter, Steve Nash goes over, taps him on the shoulder and says, mate, you've got to go. He looks at him, and the mouth readers of the world can be creative with what they said there.
Yep.
He storms off down the sheds, gets on the Twitter machine and starts...
Hashtag free Durant.
Hashtag free 7. That was trending worldwide. Free 7. He was live tweeting the game, and then the Nets end up going down to the Raptors by 6 points, I think it was. So... I mean, if that's the most 2021 thing you've ever seen, he's been pulled from the starting lineup. Oh, no, you can go on and play. No, I can just go.
That's reminiscent of that
It's a bit
baseball
late now.
where they got pulled in the World Series. And then
he was there
they
celebrating.
win the World Series
celebrating
and they're
with
all
them.
hugging each other and kissing each other.
So silly.
Yeah, it is. It's
Fuck.
brilliant.
God.
You know what else is silly?
Yeah, let's finish up with courtside Karen.
Courtside Karen, real name... I don't know, at basic bitch, something.
Barbie that's been melted.
Yeah, melted face.
Carlos Daddy's sugar mama.
Carlos Daddy's, trophy
what are they-
wife. Is that a
It's
trophy
not-
wife? Or is that a...
Trophy wife, yes.
digger?
Sugar mama.
He's a
no.
sugar daddy.
She's a sugar daddy. And I think,
Carlos Sugar Daddy.
what do they call him? A whore, I think.
For those playing at home,
so obviously
Lakers v Hawks, I think
Lakers
it was,
Hawks,
down in
they're
Atlanta.
in Atlanta. They've come up from Miami. I think there's plenty of these types down there, so I've heard. Very limited crowds these days, so it should be an honour to even be courtside.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Starts cussing out LeBron.
As you would.
I think Daddy was cussing out LeBron. And LeBron's-
Carlos Daddy, please, Sean. Carlos Daddy.
Carlos Daddy. Yeah.
Carlos Daddy was cussing out LeBron. And LeBron's responding to that and getting stuck right back into him. And then courtside Karen's kind of jumped up and so you can't talk to my man like that.
Oh, I think LeBron called him steroid ass or something.
This guy is juiced up. If you want to look up Carlos Daddy, he's juiced up, tan, fake hair. He's one of a kind, and LeBron tells him to fuck off.
His
and
missus stands up for him. So
Yeah, that's right. Can't fight his own battles. And believe LeBron said something like rank ass bitch. And I'm going to
you
commend
rank
you,
it.
LeBron. I tend to agree with that statement.
Juliana Carlos. No
Carlos.
relation to Carlos Daddy. Well,
Yeah.
geez, that's got enough issues in itself. There.
Yeah, half her age, half his age, I should say. I think LeBron thought they were father and daughter at one period in time there, and then
they've literally stopped the game. The refs had to blow the whistle
they
because
had to boot.
there's 15 people in the stadium and two
She
of
had
them.
her mask off, and she took straight to the interwebs saying that she'll fuck up LeBron.
That's a direct quote
in
too.
verbatim, she'd say, I'll fuck you up from the 5'5" fake lip.
To the
courtside
7-foot monster.
Usually I hold back. I usually hold my opinion to myself. These two people are what's wrong with the fucking world. So good on you, LeBron, for taking a stand.
Get him
You don't
down.
need to take shit from these two morons. And hopefully Courtside Karen is getting a lot on her channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, she's
right.
getting massive love, I think.
She has come out today and apologised for the
She did
outburst.
apologise.
So
Good on her.
I think she spent the 48 hours in the DMs getting absolutely
This
roasted.
roasted,
So her and Carlos Daddy can head back down to Miami and
Yeah.
have a good night's sleep tonight. No,
Jimmy?
they've done.
Speaking of good night's sleeps, huge show. Well done,
Yeah.
boys.
I
Thanks,
think
guys.
we'll finish up with there's NHL. The season's going. They're in I think a worse spot than the NBA is with games postponed and being cancelled and stuff like that. You look at their table and it's all over the place. With some teams have played 13 plus games and some have played like 6. Like they're very struggling. So we will get to the NHL when we get to it.
We
The season
full
is still
disclosure,
going.
we also live in Australia and there's no fucking ice here. So
Go Devils. All the Seinfeld fans out there, go Devils.
there is actually a lot of ice in the rural towns, different type of ice.
And that's time. I reckon we might end
We'll
up.
try to get our head around how this sport works and hopefully
Cover it
don't
a bit
butcher
more,
it too
yes.
much. Yes.
Yeah. So to finish up on current score on the BPL, the Sixers finished with 188, I think.
Yep.
Scorchers need 189 to win. They're now currently none for 16, depending on if this is a 4 or 6. It was a 4. I'm just not sure how they called it.
Yep.
Bancroft, of course. Opening.
Bancroft again opening.
Opening.
So Roy, I don't know what's going on with. Does anyone
Bancroft
know?
and Livingston opening. 0 for 16.
Roy was a warm up. He just rolled his ankle
Rolled
in
his
warm up.
ankle,
Yeah,
yeah.
before
Right.
that
Spewing.
semi-final / challenger gladiator match, whatever they
it is.
called it.
Mike Whitney.
So yeah, none for 17 from the first two.
And that, I think, will wrap us up. We've covered AFL, NRL, UFC, EPL, tennis, Olympics.
All the gossip channels. We
yeah,
were
all the
all
gossip,
over any
EPL.
Relationship breakdown.
NBA, NFL, like the lot. We've covered it all.
And
Thank
we-
you for listening. Thank you for sticking around if you've been here for 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Good on you.
Yeah, definitely good on you. Thank you, Maga. Thank you, Peppy. Thank
Thanks,
you,
boys.
Marks.
Thanks,
for coming
boys.
out,
Great time.
It was good.
Good luck, Jimmy, on Monday. Go Bucks.
Yeah.
Up tempo for the
Definitely.
Super Bowl win. Made these two skull, but in the end,
I don't mind sculling.
Yeah,
just
to be honest, yeah.
want to
but-
see a good game.
you'd probably skull just to join in with us anyway. So. I think that'll
Yeah.
wrap us up.
Thanks,
Thank you
boys.
all.
Thanks for that.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.